You are listening to The Night Shift Alpha, written by Deanne Leo, narrated by Jessica Lee. In exactly 7 hours and 45 minutes, Iris Morgan will transform from beautiful to completely forgettable. The curse masks her beauty, making her invisible to everyone, except to him. Jasper LeBlanc, British CEO, hostile takeover specialist, and the only man in Boston who looks at her like he's drowning. There's just one problem the way he looks at her. Not the way an alpha looks at his mate. It's something else. Something off. And Shadow? Well, Shadow is a telepathic cat who knows exactly what's wrong with both of them. But he's not telling. Yet. The Night Shift Alpha, where a corporate takeover becomes a rescue mission, where beauty is literally in the eye of the beholder, and where the most shocking revelation in paranormal romance is hiding in plain sight. If you love heartfelt shifter romance stories, hit that subscribe button and give this video and the cat a like. This is an original story written on demand by Deanne Leo, specifically for the audience of this channel. Want your own story? Tell her using the link below. Comment your favorite paranormal trope, fairy tale inspiration, or a character you want more stories about. You never know. Your requested story might be available next week. Your engagement keeps these stories coming. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the story. Let Shadow reveal the truth to you in the end. Chapter 1. The elevator was already climbing when Iris realized she'd been holding her breath since the lobby. Shadow dug his claws into her shoulder, his weight somehow 5 pounds heavier than last week. "Your anxiety is vibrating through my whiskers," the black cat complained, his telepathic voice carrying an absurd British accent that he'd somehow perfected over the years. "It's very disturbing, like standing next to a tuning fork." "I'm not anxious." Iris watched the floors tick by. 23, 24. Her reflection in the polished doors showed what she'd see for exactly. She checked her phone. 6 hours and 58 minutes more. High cheekbones, full lips, eyes that seemed to hold starlight. Then the curse would steal it all away, leaving her with a face so ordinary that people's gazes slid past without stopping. "I don't even want a full-time position." "Then why are we racing here at 12:47 in the morning?" Shadow's tail swished against her neck. "You don't start until tomorrow night. Also, you put on mascara. You never wear mascara." That contract revision message felt wrong. Floor 31, 32. Her fingers drummed against her thigh. An old nervous habit. Corporate speak for "you're probably fired." "Stress eating," Shadow announced apropos of nothing. "That's why I'm heavier. 7 days of abandonment equals 7 pounds of salmon treats. 5 pounds, and Aunt Moira needed me." Her medications weren't working again? The new specialist thinks he found something that might help. Iris didn't mention the cost. $4,000 a month if insurance didn't cover it. Another reason she couldn't afford to lose this job, even if it was just temporary contract work. "She's all I have left, Shadow." "You have me," Shadow said, softer now. "Though I understand I'm not exactly helpful with medical bills, unless someone needs a hairball strategically placed." The elevator dinged. 47th floor, 12:49 a.m. The hallway blazed unnaturally bright, every light on instead of the usual energy-saving night mode. Wrong scents hit her immediately. Pine forest and leather and alpha wolf, where there should be stale coffee and toner. But underneath those dominant scents, something else made her nose twitch. Something familiar, yet wrong. Like family photos with a stranger's face photoshopped in. Her supposedly comatose wolf stirred, which was impossible. The curse kept it dormant during these hours, trapped like a bird with clipped wings. "Oh, what a magnificent view," Shadow purred. But he wasn't looking out the windows. Iris rounded the corner and stopped dead. Someone had dragged Bertha, the industrial printer that had been here longer than most employees, directly across her cubicle entrance. That someone currently stood with his back to her, shoulders tense with barely contained violence, clearly contemplating printer murder. Even from behind, he radiated power, the kind that made her wolf crack open both eyes and pay attention. the kind that made other wolves bare their throats in submission. His dress shirt was expensive, the kind that probably cost more than her monthly rent, stretched across shoulders that suggested he didn't spend all his time behind a desk. Papers littered the floor around him, some crumpled in obvious frustration, others bearing the Silverstone Corporation letterhead. One sheet near her foot had a coffee ring stain, fresh. Someone else had been here recently. "Excuse me," she called. He turned, and her wolf sat straight up and whispered, "Mine." The man looked like sin in a bespoke suit, charcoal fabric that clung to broad shoulders, white shirt with sleeves rolled to reveal forearms that made her mouth go dry, dark hair mussed from frustrated fingers. But it was his eyes, storm gray and focused on her with predatory intensity, that made her forget how breathing worked. Except, something was off about his gaze. He seemed to be looking at her, but not quite at her face. More like he was focusing on a point just past her left ear. His scent hit her full force. Pine forest after rain, expensive leather, coffee with a hint of whiskey, and underneath it all, alpha wolf. Not just any alpha, this was power aged and refined, controlled but devastating. Her wolf pressed against the curse's cage, wanting out, wanting closer, wanting to know why he smelled like home and danger all at once. "This area is restricted," he said, and God help her, the British accent made her knees wobble. Not the fake kind Americans put on to sound sophisticated. This was genuine, with those crisp consonants and liquid vowels that spoke of boarding schools and old money. Shadow vibrated with delight against her shoulder. "This area is my workspace." She forced her voice steady, checking her phone. 12:51 a.m., still safe in her beautiful form for hours yet. "You've barricaded it with Bertha." His eyes tracked the movement of her hand, then returned to her face, no, to that spot near her ear again. He studied her like she was a puzzle he wanted to solve. Slowly, thoroughly, with his teeth. "Stop that," she told her wolf firmly. "Bertha?" His head tilted slightly, and she caught him inhaling, scenting her. "The printer." Her skin prickled under his scrutiny. "She's temperamental, older than most of the junior staff, only accepts legal-size paper on Tuesdays. She's demonic." He stepped aside, but only enough to let her approach. Not enough to give her real space. She caught more sense on him now, frustration, exhaustion, and something else. Something that reminded her of Pack, but wasn't quite right. 20 minutes of consuming paper without producing anything. The technical manual might as well be in ancient Sumerian. "Did you check the output tray?" She had to move past him to reach the printer, bringing her close enough that his body heat wrapped around her like a promise. This close, she could see the gold flecks in those storm gray eyes, the way they didn't quite track her face properly. "Of course He stopped. She could feel him behind her, not touching, but close enough that her wolf whined. Close enough that his breath stirred the hair at her nape. The secondary tray, behind the hidden panel. Her fingers fumbled with the compartment, hyper-aware of him watching. His scent was making it hard to think. Pine and alpha and want. You have to lift and slide simultaneously. Bertha likes to make people work for it. She pulled out 30 pages, turning to hand them over, and found him closer than expected. Much closer. Their fingers brushed as he took the papers, and electricity shot straight to her core. His pupils dilated, nostrils flaring slightly. This close, she could see the faint scar through his left eyebrow, the way his jaw clenched like he was fighting for control. "Thank you." His voice had dropped an octave, rough like good whiskey. "I'm Jasper LeBlanc." LeBlanc, she knew that name. Everyone in business knew that name. Old money, older power, the kind of family that had their fingers in everything from tech to real estate to things that never made the newspapers. Iris Morgan. She should step back. She didn't. Couldn't. Her wolf had taken control of her feet, apparently. Shadow leaped onto the printer between them, purring loud enough to wake the dead. "I am Shadow the Magnificent, first of his name, keeper of secrets, lord of the midnight hour, and connoisseur of fine salmon. Only Iris could hear his telepathic grandstanding. I am no one's pet. I am, however, intrigued by this wolf who looks at you without looking. Beautiful cat, Jasper said, but his eyes never left her, or rather never left that spot near her face where his gaze kept settling. His hand moved toward Shadow, and the cat, the traitor, pushed his head into Jasper's palm. Everyone likes him. Her voice came out breathier than intended. He knows it too. Ego the size of Massachusetts. Just Massachusetts? Jasper's mouth quirked. Not all of New England? He's working his way up. She watched his fingers stroke Shadow's fur, gentle despite their obvious strength. First day? First night. Something flickered in his expression. Interest, heat, decision. The acquisition completed at midnight. I wanted to review things personally before the morning shift. At midnight, very dramatic. Very efficient. Less resistance after hours. He was still petting Shadow, who was purring like a small motor. You've been here long? 3 years. She checked her phone again. 12:54 a.m. Still safe, still beautiful, still lying by omission. I work nights. Temporary contract. By choice? He tilted his head, studying her again with that unsettling focus that didn't quite reach her eyes. I like flexibility, and turning into a pumpkin at dawn required it. Plus, Bertha and I have an understanding. She only behaves after midnight. She's not the only one who's nocturnal, apparently. He shifted slightly, not quite closer, but somehow the space between them charged with electricity. Most of the valuable work here seems to happen after midnight. Your reports, for instance. Her stomach dropped. My reports? 3 years of detailed analysis. Corporate corruption documented with surgical precision. He pulled out his phone, showing her screenshots of her work. These are yours, aren't they? I recognize the documentation style, thorough, meticulous, angry. How did you... I read everything before an acquisition. Everything. His thumb swiped through more screenshots. You've been tracking Henderson's embezzlement for 2 years. The shell companies, the offshore accounts. Why didn't you report it? To whom? Henderson? He's CFO. The board? She laughed bitterly. Half of them are getting kickbacks. HR told me temps don't get to file complaints above their pay grade. His jaw tightened. They said that? Welcome to corporate America, Mr. LeBlanc, where contract workers are furniture with opinions no one wants to hear. I want to hear them. He moved closer, and she caught another scent on him. Determination mixed with something that smelled like justice. That's why I need to move this printer. You need to access your workspace. Contract revision notice, she explained, gesturing at the crumpled paper in his hand. Probably termination. Henderson knows I've been documenting things. You're not being terminated. The certainty in his voice made her wolf purr. The alpha command in it made her want to bare her throat. Stop that, she told herself firmly. She reached past him for the scattered papers, her arm brushing his chest. He went perfectly still, like a predator deciding whether to pounce. The papers were warm from his hands, and she could see his handwriting in the margins, sharp, decisive, with numbers circled and question marks that showed he'd been doing his own analysis. Termination letters? Her stomach dropped as she read. You're here to fire people? I'm here to fix problems. His voice carried an edge now, alpha authority bleeding through like smoke under a door. Maria Chen just bought a house. She's got 3 kids, 1 starting college. She grabbed another page, anger overriding the attraction. David Martinez, twins on the way. His wife is on bed rest. These aren't problems. They're people. Henderson's been embezzling. Peterson sold trade secrets to our competitors in Seoul. He moved closer, using his height to look down at her, but she didn't back away. Wouldn't give him the satisfaction. Rodriguez hasn't shown up sober in 6 months. Rodriguez's daughter has leukemia. He's drowning in medical debt that our pathetic insurance won't cover. She pulled up data on her phone, shoving it at him. You want to know the real problems? Executive discretionary fund bleeding $2 million quarterly. Board members' relatives with consulting contracts for services never rendered. $3 million in agricultural development last quarter. We're a tech company. Unless we're growing server farms literally, that money's being laundered. He caught her wrist gently to steady the phone, thumb pressing against her pulse point where her heart hammered like a caged bird. His eyes darkened, and she saw him inhale again, scenting her emotional state. "You documented all of this?" His thumb moved slightly, just a whisper of movement, and her wolf practically rolled over and showed its belly. Everything. Every suspicious transaction, every ghost employee, every contract that leads to nowhere. She pulled her hand back, skin tingling where he'd touched her. "But temp analysts don't get heard. We're just supposed to process the data, not think about it." "They do now." He stepped into her space, backing her against Bertha. The printer's warmth at her back was nothing compared to the heat coming off him. Senior business analyst, triple salary, full benefits, starting immediately. Based on what? She had to tilt her head back to meet his eyes, those strange, unfocused eyes that seemed to see everything and nothing. A 3-minute conversation? Based on you providing more intelligence in 30 seconds than weeks of reports from my transition team. His hands braced on either side of her, caging her against the printer. She could feel the warmth of his arms without them touching her, could smell the way his scent shifted with interest. "Also, I own the company as of midnight. LeBlanc conglomerate, which means I decide who stays and who goes." Her wolf whispered mate again, louder, more insistent. "Hostile takeover," she breathed. "How perfectly vampiric." His mouth curved, not quite a smile, more like a promise. "I prefer efficient. Hostile implies resistance. Your board couldn't roll over fast enough when they saw my offer." "How much?" "Enough." He leaned closer and she could see herself reflected in his pupils, or thought she could. His gaze kept sliding away from her face. "The real question is, how much are you worth?" She checked her phone. 1:02 a.m. Still had time, but the way he was looking at her, or not looking at her, made her feel like she was already transforming. "Presumptuous," she managed, "assuming everyone wants to join your empire." "What do you want?" He leaned closer, voice dropping to something that made her shiver. "Besides fixing problems others ignore? Besides justice for Maria Chen and David Martinez?" "Independence. I can give you that." His scent wrapped around her, pine and danger and want. "Your hours, your terms, just help me clean this up." Shadow jumped down, winding around Jasper's legs before returning to Iris. "He smells like excellent decisions and terrible ideas," the cat commented. "Also like someone who can't quite see what everyone else sees." "Interesting. Very interesting. I approve." "What do you mean?" Iris thought back, but Shadow had gone selectively deaf, a skill he'd perfected over the years. "One condition," she said, proud her voice didn't shake. "Name it." He was close enough she could see gold flecks in those storm-gray eyes, close enough to see that his gaze kept trying to focus on her face and failing, settling instead on her mouth, her hair, anywhere but her eyes. "No terminations without consulting me first. Every name on that list, I want to review their full situation." "Even Henderson?" "Especially Henderson." She thought of the strange, familiar scent she'd caught earlier. "There's more to that story." Agreed. He extended his hand, and she knew touching him again was dangerous. Knew it would feed the mate bond her wolf was already spinning between them like silver thread. She took it anyway. The contact sent heat racing through her veins, and his grip tightened reflexively before he caught himself. He held on a second too long, thumb brushing her knuckles before releasing. The gesture was probably meant to be professional, but it felt like a claim. "Tomorrow night?" he asked, voice rough. "We have a lot to review." She checked her phone. 1:05 a.m. The curse stirred deep in her bones, reminding her what tomorrow would bring. How different she'd look. How his unfocused eyes might sharpen with disgust when they saw her plain face. "Maybe? I'll take maybe." He moved the printer aside with easy strength, muscles flexing under his shirt in ways that made her wolf whine appreciatively. "Your workspace, Ms. Morgan." She squeezed past him, bodies brushing, and his sharp intake of breath made her wolf preen. The contact lasted less than a second, but she felt it like a brand. "Iris," he said as she reached her desk. "You smell like vanilla and mysteries." Her wolf howled. She checked her phone. 1:07 a.m. 5 hours and 38 minutes until she turned ordinary. "You smell like trouble," she said without turning around. "Accurate." She could hear the smile in his voice. "Until tomorrow." He left, taking his intoxicating scent with him, but something lingered. That wrongness she'd noticed earlier, stronger now. Like pack, but not pack. Like family, but twisted. Shadow immediately jumped onto her desk, scattering her carefully organized sticky notes. "Your wolf is writing poetry," the cat announced. Terrible, lustful poetry about forearms and British accents. "My wolf is an idiot." "Your wolf recognizes a mate when she sees one." Shadow's green eyes gleamed with ancient knowledge. "Also, did you notice he can't properly focus on faces?" His eyes keep sliding away. "That's not normal, even for wolves." "What do you mean?" "Nothing. Maybe. Probably something." Shadow began grooming his paw with studied casualness. "Also, I require a window office in your new executive suite, with a view of the harbor, and a fish tank." "There's no suite. Tomorrow when he sees what I really look like in the morning." "Conversations for another time." Shadow curled into a loaf shape. "Right now, you need to prepare for tomorrow night. Your mate will be back." "He's not my mate." "Tell that to your wolf who's currently composing sonnets about his forearms." Her wolf, the traitor, was indeed already counting the minutes until tomorrow night. And underneath the excitement, a thread of unease. That wrong scent. The familiar but not quality that made her skin crawl. She turned to her computer, pulling up Henderson's files. Somewhere in this data was the answer to why the CFO smelled like pack, but wrong. Like family, but dangerous. Chapter 2. "You're going to be late," Shadow announced, batting Iris's face with his paw. "It's already 8:17 p.m., and you haven't even started your elaborate pretending not to care ritual." Iris groaned, pulling the pillow over her head. Every muscle ached from last night's escape sprint. She'd run the 12 blocks home when dawn hit, her features already starting to shift. "I'm not going." "Lies." Shadow jumped onto her stomach, all 20 pounds of him. "You've been thinking about him all day. I can tell because you kept muttering storm gray eyes in your sleep. Also something about forearms that would make a romance novelist blush." "I did not." "You did. There was also a fascinating monologue about British accents and how they should be illegal in professional settings." Shadow's accent had somehow gotten worse overnight, as if in mockery. "Now get up. You need at least an hour to pick an outfit while pretending you're not picking an outfit." "I hate you." "You love me. I'm magnificent. It says so in my full title." He padded to her closet, nosing open the door. "Wear the blue sweater. It makes you look professional but approachable. Also, it matches my eyes." "Your eyes are green." "Details are for peasants." "I'm wearing my usual," Iris said, rolling out of bed and grabbing her standard black slacks and white button-down. Her reflection in the mirror showed her day face. Plain features that seemed to blur together, hair that hung limp no matter what she did with it. In 4 hours, she'd transform back into someone worth looking at. Boring. How will you seduce the vampire CEO in that? He's not a vampire. He's a wolf. She paused, remembering that strange way his eyes had moved, never quite settling on her face. "I think. Oh, he's definitely a wolf. But there's something else there, something." Shadow tilted his head. "Broken isn't the right word. Different, hidden, like you." "I'm not hiding anything. Everyone can see exactly what I am during the day, exceptionally ordinary." "Mm-hmm. That's why you've been checking your phone every 12 minutes to see if he's messaged." Shadow jumped onto her shoulder as she brushed her teeth. "He hasn't, by the way, but Henderson has. 3 emails asking where you were today." "Henderson." The name made her skin crawl. That familiar but wrong scent from last night haunted her. She'd spent the morning going through old files, looking for something, anything that would explain why the CFO smelled like twisted pack bonds. 40 minutes and one defeated argument later, she stood in front of the mirror wearing the blue sweater. "I knew it," Shadow said smugly from his perch on the dresser. "It was the only clean thing," she lied. "Of course it was." He sniffed delicately. "Just like you accidentally put on perfume." "That's vanilla body lotion for dry skin. The expensive kind you save for special occasions, the kind that costs $30 for a tiny bottle." His whiskers twitched with amusement. "The kind that makes alpha wolves lose their minds, apparently." "I'm going to leave you in the car," she threatened. "No, you won't. You need moral support for when you see his forearms again. Based on last night's sleep talking, they're quite memorable." The drive to Silverstone felt both too long and too short. Shadow sat in the passenger seat, occasionally batting at the air freshener shaped like a pine tree. "It smells like him," the cat noted with disgust. "All brooding forest and expensive cologne." "You liked him last night." "I like anyone who pets me properly. Doesn't mean I trust them." Shadow's green eyes turned serious. "There are layers to that wolf, little one. Secrets under secrets, rather like an onion." "Onions make people cry." "Exactly." By the time they reached the building at 12:43 a.m., 4 minutes early, which Shadow noted meant she was eager, Iris's heart was doing complicated gymnastics in her chest. The security guard barely glanced at her, just waved her through with the same bored expression as always. "Steve," his name tag said, though she'd never heard him speak. "Evening, Steve," she tried. He looked up, surprised. "Oh, Ms. Morgan, didn't see you there." Of course he didn't. Day-face Iris was professionally invisible. The elevator ride felt different tonight. The lingering scent of pine and alpha was stronger, as if Jasper had been up and down multiple times. But underneath it, that other smell persisted. Pack but not pack. Family but wrong. "Do you smell that?" she asked Shadow. "Besides your anxiety and questionable life choices?" He sniffed. "Old blood, old pain, old secrets. This building has seen things." When the doors opened on 47, Jasper's scent hit her immediately, stronger than last night mixed with coffee and exhaustion. He'd been here all day. "Oh my," Shadow purred. "Someone's been busy." The hallway had been transformed. The scattered papers were gone, replaced by strategic whiteboards covered in data. Her data. Her reports from 3 years, printed and highlighted, connected with red string like a detective's murder board. But it was more than that. He'd added to it. Financial records she'd never been able to access. Email chains between board members. Phone records showing calls to numbers in the Cayman Islands, Switzerland, Hong Kong. He actually read them, she breathed, moving closer to examine his work. His handwriting was everywhere. Sharp, decisive, asking the questions she'd wanted to ask but never had the access to investigate. All of them, apparently. Shadow's whiskers twitched. "Is that your analysis of the Q3 discrepancies? With handwritten notes in 3 colors of ink?" She traced one of his notes with her finger. "Brilliant catch. How did everyone miss this?" "Because no one looked," she said softly. "I looked." She spun. Jasper stood in the doorway of what used to be the break room, now transformed into some kind of war room. He'd lost the jacket, sleeves rolled up, and yes, her wolf noticed his forearms immediately. His tie was gone, top 2 buttons undone, dark hair mussed like he'd been running his hands through it. He had the slightly manic energy of someone who'd been awake for 36 hours and was running on caffeine and determination. "You've been here all day," she said. Not a question. "Your reports were fascinating reading." He moved closer, and she caught more of his scent. Pine and exhaustion and something her wolf identified as pleased. Pleased to see her. "You documented everything. 3 years of systematic corruption hidden in plain sight. It's like reading a very depressing but brilliantly written novel. No one ever read them. Their loss." His eyes did that thing again, looking at her but not quite at her, focusing somewhere around her left shoulder. "I've set up in here, more space to work. Also, the coffee maker in here actually works, unlike the one by Henderson's office, which I'm convinced is possessed. She followed him in, Shadow padding silently beside her. The room was covered floor to ceiling with her work, reports, charts, graphs, but also new additions. Employee files with handwritten notes about their personal situations, financial records with sticky notes asking questions, communication logs with certain names highlighted in yellow. "You've been investigating my investigations," she said. "Following your breadcrumbs." He picked up a tablet, showing her a complex financial web he'd mapped out. The agricultural development leads to 14 shell companies. The consulting fees trace back to a single account in the Caymans registered to a company that doesn't exist except on paper. And Henderson, his jaw tightened. Henderson's been here since the beginning. 20 years. "Office furniture?" Iris murmured, reading the screen. "He's been here longer than the office furniture, and he's also been stealing longer than the office furniture." Jasper set down the tablet, focusing on her with that intensity that made her skin prickle. Even if his eyes couldn't quite find her face, she felt seen. "But you knew that," I suspected. "You documented evidence that would hold up in court. Every transaction, every pattern, every discrepancy." He moved closer, backing her against the table. "Why didn't you report it?" "To whom, Henderson? He's CFO, the board? Half of them are getting kickbacks." She laughed bitterly. "HR? They told me temps don't get to file complaints. That my job was to process data, not interpret it. That thinking above my pay grade was a good way to end up unemployed." His eyes darkened, and she saw his hands clench. "They said that? Who specifically? Does it matter? That's how it works for people like me. We see everything, but we're invisible." The irony of saying that while literally being under a curse that made her invisible during the day wasn't lost on her. "You're not invisible to me." The way he said it, low and intense, made her wolf whine. But then she remembered he was seeing Night Iris, beautiful Iris, the Iris worth noticing. "I'm just saying," she deflected, "the system is designed to protect itself." "Then we break the system." He reached past her for a file, his chest brushing her shoulder. Her wolf practically purred. "Starting with Henderson, I found things that weren't in your reports. Things you couldn't have known without executive access." "Like what?" "He has a daughter." Iris went cold. "What?" "No record of her in any of his official documents. But I found tuition payments to a private school in Connecticut. Medical bills for a 16-year-old girl named Luna. All paid from accounts that trace back to the shell companies. Luna, the name hit her like a physical blow. Her mother's middle name. Her grandmother's name. A Silver Moon Pact tradition, passing down moon names through the maternal line. "You okay?" Jasper asked, and she realized he'd moved closer, his hand hovering near her elbow like he wanted to steady her but wasn't sure he should touch. "Fine. Just surprised. Henderson never mentioned family." "There's more." He pulled up another file. "The medical bills? They're for treatment of what's listed as a rare genetic condition. Specifically, issues with transformation cycles." Shadow, who'd been suspiciously quiet, suddenly meowed loudly and knocked over a coffee cup. "Shadow." "Apologies," the cat said in her mind, though his tone suggested zero actual regret. "Clumsy me. Perhaps we should discuss something else. Like how this very attractive alpha keeps almost touching you, but pulling back at the last second." "Your cat's upset," Jasper observed, grabbing paper towels to clean the spill. This brought him close enough that she could feel his body heat, smell the way his scent shifted when near her, warmer, muskier, interested. "He's hungry, stress-eating, remember? There's a vending machine down the hall." He straightened, still close. Too close. Not close enough. "Though I should warn you, it's vindictive. Took my dollar and gave me nothing 3 times before I gave up." "You fought with the vending machine?" "It started it." He sounded personally offended. "I followed the instructions perfectly. It chose violence." Despite herself, Iris laughed. "Come on, I'll show you the trick." They walked to the vending machine, Shadow trotting ahead importantly. Jasper stood too close as she demonstrated the bill feeding technique. Slow, steady, exactly the right angle, with a little wiggle at the halfway point. "You have to be gentle," she said, feeding $1 into the slot. "Machines respond better to patience than force." "I'll remember that." His breath stirred her hair and she realized he'd moved even closer, watching over her shoulder. "What else responds to patience?" Her wolf practically purred. "Cats. Definitely cats. And Bertha, the printer." "What about data analysts?" He fed his own $1 in, following her technique perfectly but still standing unnecessarily close. "Do they respond to patience?" "Depends on the approach." She turned, finding him closer than expected, her back against the vending machine. "We're very particular about documentation," he finished. "I've noticed. Your files are color-coded, cross-referenced, and indexed. It's basically organizational poetry." "You're mocking me." "I'm impressed." He reached past her, selecting a candy bar, his body caging hers against the machine for a moment. "I've never seen anyone document fraud so beautifully. Your spreadsheets are works of art." "Now I know you're mocking me." "I'm really not." He pulled back, unwrapping the candy bar and breaking off a piece for Shadow, who accepted it with royal dignity. "I pulled your HR file." Her stomach dropped. "That's invasive." "It's thorough." He walked back toward the war room, and she followed despite herself. 3 years of perfect work. Never a sick day. Never a vacation except last week. No emergency contact except Ross. No photo on file. Lots of people don't update their profiles. You didn't create one. He turned, backlit by the fluorescent lights. "It's like you're trying not to exist. Like you're hiding." "Maybe I value privacy. Maybe you're hiding something." He moved closer again, and her traitorous feet didn't retreat. "Something about why you can only work nights. Why you always leave at exactly 7:45 a.m., according to Steve, the security guard. Why your wolf is so quiet I can barely sense it, but when I do—" He stopped. "When you do what?" Her voice came out breathless. "When I do sense it, it feels familiar, like I've known it forever, like it's calling to mine." His eyes did that unfocused thing again, landing somewhere near her mouth. "Which is impossible. We'd never met before last night." Her wolf howled silently, throwing itself against the curse's cage. Her phone rang, shattering the moment. Elder Moira's number. "I have to take this," she said, stepping away, her hand shaking slightly. "Iris, dear." Moira's voice was strained, and she could hear medical machines beeping in the background. "I'm sorry to call, but the pharmacy says there's an issue with insurance. The new medication isn't covered." "How much?" $4,000, monthly." Moira coughed, and it sounded wet, painful. "I told them not to bother you, but—" "I'll figure it out. I always do." "You shouldn't have to. This is my burden. You're my family. The only family I have left." Iris's voice cracked slightly. "I'll handle it." She hung up to find Jasper watching her with an expression she couldn't read, partly because his eyes weren't quite focused on her face, but partly because it was complex. Concern mixed with determination mixed with something else. "Everything all right?" "Fine," she lied. "Family matter." He studied her for a long moment, or at least studied the space around her. Then, "There's a signing bonus for the senior analyst position. 20,000. "That's not—" "Standard, no, but neither are you." He pulled out his phone, typing quickly. "It'll be in your account by morning. Consider it an advance on the corruption you're going to help me uncover. I haven't accepted the position." "You will." He showed her his phone screen. He'd already initiated the transfer. "Your work is worth it. You're worth it." Her wolf whispered mate so loudly she was afraid he'd hear it. "Why?" she asked. "Why does this matter so much to you? You could hire any forensic accountant, any investigator, because someone needs to fix this company. Because corruption offends me on a personal level. And because—" He paused, seeming to wrestle with something. "Because my instincts about you are never wrong." "Your instincts?" "My wolf's instincts," he admitted quietly. "It recognizes something in you, something important, Something. He trailed off, shaking his head. I sound insane. No, she said softly. You sound like someone who trusts their wolf. Do you trust yours? Tell him, her wolf screamed. Tell him what we are. Tell him why we hide. My wolf is complicated, she said instead. Aren't they all? He moved to the whiteboard, picking up a marker. We have work to do. Henderson's moving money faster now. 3 transfers in the last 24 hours. He knows something's changing. He knows you're here. He knows we're here, Jasper corrected. Your reports spooked him. My arrival just accelerated his timeline. They worked side by side for the next 2 hours, mapping out Henderson's network. Jasper's investigation style was fascinating. He'd catch details she'd missed, but needed her to point out patterns he couldn't see. Several times she caught him looking at her, or rather, looking toward her without his eyes quite finding her face. There, she said finally, pointing at a pattern of transfers. Every 3rd Tuesday, same amount, same sequence of accounts, but the final destination changes. Money laundering? Or payments? Protection money, maybe? Blackmail? From Henderson? Jasper leaned over her shoulder to see the screen better, and his scent enveloped her. Who could he be paying off? The question hung in the air. Who indeed? Or what? Shadow chose that moment to hack up a hairball. Magnificent, Jasper said dryly. He's making a statement. About? Your presence in his space, probably. He's very territorial about the office. It's my office now. Tell that to the cat who's claimed every horizontal surface. She glanced at her phone. 7:30 a.m. Oh no. You have to go. It wasn't a question. 15 minutes until you run. How did he know her schedule so precisely already? Tomorrow night? He asked. We've barely scratched the surface of Henderson's network. And I want to know more about these medical bills for his mystery daughter. Luna, the name echoed in her mind. Maybe. You mean yes. He stepped back, giving her space to leave. Also, I'm calling an emergency board meeting tomorrow, 8 a.m., mandatory for senior staff. Her blood chilled. I can't. I know. His expression was unreadable, those unfocused eyes intense, despite not quite meeting hers. That's what I thought. Someone who can only work nights. It's interesting. It's a medical condition, she said quickly. Photosensitivity. Is that what they're calling it? His tone was neutral, but she heard the skepticism. She ran, Shadow at her heels. At exactly 7:44, Shadow executed his signature coffee spill maneuver, drenching Jasper's shirt as they passed. Really? Jasper called after her, not sounding upset. Is this going to be an everyday thing? Consider it a parting gift, Shadow called back cheerfully, though only Iris could hear him. The elevator doors closed on Jasper's laughter. He knows something's off, Shadow said simply. He suspects. He knows you're something. He just doesn't know what. Shadow's green eyes were wise. Also, did you notice how he kept almost looking at your face but couldn't quite manage it? He was being polite, not staring. No, little wolf. That was something else. Something more. The elevator descended, and with each floor, Iris felt the curse tightening its grip. Also, we need to talk about Henderson's daughter. Luna, I know. You know the name's significance, but did you catch what Jasper said? Transformation cycles. A 16-year-old girl with transformation issues. Shadow's tail swished anxiously. What are the odds? Her phone showed 7:45 a.m. exactly as the curse crashed over her, stealing her beauty, caging her wolf completely. In the elevator's polished doors, she watched her features blur and fade into plainness. We need to find her, Iris whispered. We need to be careful, Shadow corrected. If Henderson really has a daughter and she's really Pack, then she's in danger. Or she's bait. The elevator opened on the lobby. Steve, the security guard, looked right through her as she passed, already forgetting she'd been there, but somewhere 47 floors up, an alpha wolf was memorizing her scent, her schedule, her habits, trying to solve the puzzle of Iris Morgan. He'll figure it out, Shadow said as they reached the car. I know. What will you do when he does? Iris looked back at the building, morning sun making the windows blaze gold. I don't know. But her wolf, even silenced by the curse, whispered one word: trust. Trust the mate who couldn't quite see her. Trust the alpha who fought vending machines and believed in documentation. Trust the wolf who'd transferred $20,000 without blinking because family mattered, even if that trust might destroy everything she'd built to keep herself safe. Chapter 3. Iris's phone rang at 3:17 p.m., dragging her from a dream about storm gray eyes and forearms that belonged in a museum dedicated to masculine perfection. In the dream, Jasper had been mapping her corruption reports across his skin like tattoos, each discovery making his wolf eyes glow brighter. Miss Morgan? An unfamiliar voice, professionally cheerful with an undertone of urgency. This is Rebecca from Mr. LeBlanc's office. He needs you to come in immediately. Iris sat up, catching her reflection in the bedroom mirror. The curse's daytime face stared back. Features that seemed to blur together no matter how long anyone looked. Hair that hung limp despite her best efforts. Everything designed to be forgotten the moment someone looked away. Is there a problem? He said it's urgent, something about the Henderson investigation. And Rebecca lowered her voice conspiratorially. There are federal investigators here. FBI, maybe. They're wearing those obvious suits. Her stomach twisted into complicated knots. I'll be there in 30 minutes. He said to tell you the coffee's fresh and Bertha's behaving. Rebecca paused. I don't know what that means, but he insisted I say it exactly. He was very specific about the wording. Shadow lifted his head from his sprawl across her laptop, where he'd been helping her research Henderson's shell companies by sleeping on the keyboard. This is going to be spectacular. This is going to be a disaster. Iris grabbed the first clothes she could find, shapeless khakis that had once been black but were now the color of defeat, and an oversized cardigan that had seen better decades. He's going to take one look at me and revoke everything. The job offer, the signing bonus, probably my building access. Your lack of faith in your mate is insulting, Shadow said, stretching luxuriously. Also, those pants make you look like a deflated balloon. He's attracted to night me. Day me looks like I got dressed in the dark at a thrift store. During a depression, in 1987. The blue sweater is for night Iris. Day Iris doesn't get nice things. She pulled her hair into a bun that somehow looked like a bird had tried to build a nest, but given up halfway through. Besides, once he sees me like this, there won't be any more midnight meetings. No more investigating Henderson together. No more of him almost but not quite touching me while explaining financial fraud. You noticed that too? Shadow's whiskers twitched. The almost touching? It's like he's fighting himself. Probably fighting not to be inappropriate with an employee. She grabbed her keys, hands shaking slightly. God, what if the FBI wants to question me? They'll take one look at Damie and assume I'm the janitor. The drive to Silverstone felt like approaching execution. Shadow sat in the passenger seat, occasionally batting at the air freshener, which still smelled faintly of pine. Stop being dramatic, he said. Your mate will recognize you. Wolves know their mates by scent, not sight. He's not my mate. We've known each other for exactly 2 nights. Your wolf has known his wolf for eternity. That's how mate bonds work. Shadow's green eyes went distant. Your mother knew your father was her mate the moment she scented him, even though he was covered in motor oil and fixing a truck at the time. How do you know that? Stories for another time. Shadow's tail swished anxiously. But trust the bond, little wolf. It sees what eyes cannot. The building's daytime security barely glanced at her. Just another forgettable employee in a sea of forgettable faces. The day guard, Tom, or was it Tim, didn't even look up from his newspaper. The elevator ride took the same 93 seconds but felt like hours. With each floor, her anxiety ratcheted higher. What if Jasper was disgusted? What if he thought she'd been deliberately deceiving him? What if... The doors opened on 47 and chaos greeted her. People in dark suits were everywhere. carrying boxes of files, photographing the whiteboards Jasper had covered with her data. When the doors opened, voices drifted from the war room. "Complete audit trail going back 5 years," someone was saying. A woman's voice, sharp and professional. "This is incredibly thorough work. Ms. Morgan's analysis found patterns we all missed," Jasper replied, and just hearing his voice made her wolf stir, despite the curse's hold. She documented everything with a precision that's honestly beautiful. "She'll be here." He stopped mid-sentence as she appeared in the doorway. The room full of executives and investigators turned to stare. Jasper's storm-gray eyes locked onto hers. No, not quite onto hers. Onto a spot just left of her face, like he was looking at someone standing beside her. Something flickered across his face. Confusion? Recognition? She couldn't tell, but she could see him inhaling, his nostrils flaring slightly as he scented her. "You wanted to see me?" Her voice came out smaller than intended, mouse-quiet in the room full of alphas and authorities. "Ms. Morgan?" A man in an expensive suit frowned. One of the board members she recognized from photos, Richard Blackstone, if she remembered correctly. "I thought you were calling in the night analyst, the one with all those brilliant reports. The beautiful one who—" "This is her," Jasper said, but there was something odd in his tone. Uncertain, confused. His eyes kept trying to focus on her face and sliding away. No, Blackstone insisted, pulling out his phone with the confidence of a man who was never wrong. He showed a security photo from last night. Beautiful night Iris, laughing at something Shadow had done, her face luminous under the fluorescent lights, looking like she belonged on magazine covers, not in cubicles. "This is the woman from the reports, the one you were with until dawn, your girlfriend." "She's not my—" Jasper stared at the phone, then at Iris, then back at the phone. His jaw tightened, a muscle jumping in his cheek. That's the same person." "Sir, with respect," Rebecca interjected gently from the doorway, a petite redhead with kind eyes who looked mortified by the situation. "They're completely different people. Maybe sisters? Twins who share the position? We have that in accounting with the Yamamoto brothers." "Don't be ridiculous." But Jasper sounded less certain now, almost lost. He moved closer to Iris, and she saw him inhale deeply, his chest expanding. His eyes widened slightly, pupils dilating. "You smell exactly like—" "Like what?" Blackstone demanded, clearly enjoying the drama. "Nothing." Jasper's expression shuddered, the vulnerable confusion replaced by his CEO mask. "Ms. Morgan, I need to speak with you privately, now." He guided her out, his hand hovering near her lower back, but not quite touching, as if he wasn't sure he should. As if he wasn't sure she was real. She could feel the heat of his palm through her cardigan, almost but not quite making contact. Shadow trotted after them, tail held high like a flag of war. His corner office was pristine, except for her reports scattered everywhere. On his desk, pinned to the walls, spread across the coffee table. He'd been living in her work, breathing it. He closed the door and leaned against his desk, studying her with an intensity that made her skin prickle. "You're Iris," he said slowly, like he was trying to convince himself. "The same Iris from last night." "Yes?" "But you look—" He stopped, running a hand through his hair in frustration, messing it up in a way that made him look younger, more vulnerable. "Everyone says you look completely different. Blackstone was ready to call security, thinking you were some imposter." "Because I do look different," her voice cracked. "I tried to tell you, Damie isn't what you thought. Isn't worth your time or your $20,000 signing bonus." "No, that's not—" He moved closer, circling her slowly like a wolf stalking prey, but his expression was more confused than predatory. "Your voice is identical. Every inflection, every pause. Your scent is exactly the same. Vanilla, and that underlying something I can't identify. Something wild and moonlit. The way you stand, how you hold your shoulders when you're nervous. That little thing you do with your fingers when you're thinking." She looked down and realized she was indeed drumming her fingers against her thigh. Her nervous habit. How can you notice all that but not see? She gestured at herself miserably. I don't know. Real frustration bled into his voice, and he turned away, staring at the Boston skyline. I know you're the same person. Every instinct screams it. My wolf knows it. But when I look at you, when I try to focus... He trailed off. You see someone plain, forgettable, disappointing. The words tasted like ash in her mouth. No. The word came out sharp, almost angry. He spun back to face her. I see. It's hard to explain. It's like looking at water. The surface keeps moving, never quite settling into a fixed image. Before she could respond, her phone rang. Elder Moira's ringtone, an old Silver Moon Pack song that made her chest ache. Take it, he said, turning back to stare out the window as if wrestling with something monumental. Iris, dear. Moira's voice was strained, and Iris could hear that wet cough in the background that had been getting worse. There's been an incident at the nursing home. Nothing serious, but they need insurance information and... What kind of incident? I may have bitten an orderly. Moira sounded entirely unrepentant. He was trying to give me the wrong medication, the stuff that makes me foggy. I told him 3 times, but he wouldn't listen. You bit him? Just a little nip. Barely broke the skin. But now they're making a fuss about liability and insurance and possibly moving me to a more secure facility. I'll be right there. Is everything all right? Jasper asked, still not looking directly at her, his shoulders tense. My aunt, I need to go. She bit someone. She what? He turned, almost meeting her eyes before his gaze slid away to focus on her ear. Is that normal? For Moira? Unfortunately, yes. I'll drive you. That's not necessary. Henderson filed a complaint this morning. He grabbed his keys from his desk, finally sort of meeting her eyes, focusing somewhere around her forehead like he was reading something written there. Inappropriate relationship between CEO and staff. Claims I'm showing favoritism to a night shift temp. HR is confused because they insist you and Night U are different people. We need to discuss this, and I'm not letting you face whatever's happening at the nursing home alone. She wanted to refuse, but Moira needed her, and the thought of Jasper seeing her aunt, understanding more of her life. Fine. His car smelled overwhelmingly like him. Pine and Alpha Wolf and something else now. Stress and confusion and barely controlled frustration. Shadow sprawled across the back seat, purring with satisfaction. This is nice, the cat commented. Leather seats. Very fancy. Much better than your death trap of a Honda. The complaint is serious, Jasper said, navigating traffic with the same controlled precision he did everything. The board is concerned about favoritism. Blackstone is pushing for an investigation. Then fire me. The day version isn't what you want anyway. You can't even look at me properly. Stop saying that. His hands tightened on the wheel until his knuckles went white. You're the same person. Same brilliance. Same dedication. Same everything that matters. But not the same face. He was quiet for a long moment, navigating through downtown traffic. Then, faces are complicated. What does that mean? Nothing, forget it. But his jaw was clenched, and she could smell his distress, sharp and acidic under his usual pine scent. He pulled into the nursing home parking lot. I'll wait here. You can come in if... I'll wait here, he repeated more firmly. Inside, she found Moira in the recreation room, perfectly fine and winning at poker against 3 other residents. The alleged bite victim was nowhere to be seen. False alarm, the elder said cheerfully, then dropped her voice, speaking in the old pack language. I needed to see you. There's an alpha in the parking lot. His wolf is calling to yours, even through the curse. My boss, Iris replied in English, refusing to engage. Your mate, Moira corrected, switching back to English too. The bond is forming whether you see it or not. I can smell it on you, like lightning before a storm. He can barely look at me during the day. His eyes keep sliding away from my face like it hurts him to try. Yet he drove you here. Moira's cloudy eyes sharpened with ancient wisdom. Interesting. Very interesting. Does he have any difficulties with his vision? What? No, I don't think so. He reads reports, drives. That's not what I mean. Moira leaned forward. Watch him carefully, child. There's something different about how he sees the world. Something that might make him immune to certain visual effects. Moira, what aren't you telling me? Many things, child. I'm old. I have a lifetime of secrets. She patted Iris's hand. But this one isn't mine to tell. Just pay attention. And tell me, Henderson, has he seemed different lately? He filed a complaint about Jasper and me. Claims inappropriate conduct. Moira went very still. Henderson knows about you and the Alpha? He knows something. Why? No reason. Just be careful, child. Old wolves don't survive by accident. And Henderson has survived a very long time. When Iris returned to the car, she found Jasper reading her reports with Shadow draped across his lap, purring like a small engine. The cat had somehow managed to get Jasper to pet him while reading, multitasking at its finest. Shameless, she muttered at the cat. He knows quality when he sees it, Jasper said, but he was looking at the reports, not at her. His fingers moved through Shadow's fur absently, and the contrast, powerful hands being so gentle, made her stomach flutter. Your aunt's well? Yes. The biting incident was exaggerated. She's Wolf. Not a question. Very old. Her scent is familiar. Silver Moon Pack? Iris's blood chilled. The Silver Moon Pack had been massacred 18 years ago. Everyone knew that. How? Research. He started the car, still not looking directly at her. After I sensed something similar on you. Faint, but there. Like an echo of something that used to be louder. I don't know what you mean. Your pack, but suppressed. Hidden. He pulled into traffic, his driving more aggressive now, changing lanes with sharp precision. Something's wrong with your wolf. It's there, but trapped, caged. I can feel it pushing against something, wanting out. Stop. Is it medical? Magical? He glanced at her, but his eyes slid away from her face immediately, focusing on the dashboard instead. You transform between night and day. That's not natural shifter biology. I said stop. He pulled over immediately, tires squealing slightly. They were on a side street, afternoon shadows making patterns through the windshield. I'm trying to understand. No, you're trying to solve a problem that can't be solved. Her voice broke, 18 years of pain cracking through. I'm cursed, okay? Cursed to be beautiful at night and ordinary during the day. My wolf is trapped, can barely surface even during the full moon. And you can barely stand to look at the day version. So just let me out. That's not... He reached for her, hand hovering near her cheek, then pulled back. I can look at you. Then do it. Look at me. Really look at me. He turned, and she saw him force himself to meet her eyes. But there was something wrong with his gaze. Unfocused, swimming, like he was looking through water or tears. You can't, she whispered. You can't really see me. I can see everything that matters. His voice was rough, raw. Your scent, vanilla and moonlight and home. Your voice, the way it drops when you're angry and rises when you're excited. The way your heartbeat accelerates when I get close. He leaned toward her, and her pulse indeed skyrocketed, proving his point. But not my face, she said bitterly. You can't see the very thing the curse changes. Faces are just... He stopped again, jaw clenching so hard she heard his teeth grind. Just what? Complicated, he repeated, the words seeming to pain him. We should get you home. The drive was silent, and except for Shadow's purring, an occasional commentary that only Iris could hear. He's in actual pain trying to look at you. That's not normal. That's not the curse. That's something else. As they pulled up to her building, the sun was starting to set, painting everything gold and orange. Tomorrow night, Jasper said. Midnight. We need to discuss what's really happening here. With Henderson, with you, with us. You won't want to once you know the truth. Once you know what I really am. Try me. He got out, coming around to open her door, a gesture that seemed automatic, unconscious, like muscle memory from a different era. No more running at 7:45. We face this together. The first tingles of transformation started, her skin prickling with magic. Her features were already shifting when he said softly, "There, your eyes are changing, silver threading through brown, like moonlight through water. You can see that? I can see light, color, movement, the essence of things." He stepped back, hands clenched at his sides. Just not. Other things. Specific things. She wanted to ask what he meant, but the curse was pulling at her, demanding she get inside before the full transformation hit. "Tomorrow," he said, "truth for truth. No more secrets." Inside, as Night Iris emerged in the mirror, beautiful, ethereal, everything day Iris wasn't, Shadow said thoughtfully, "He's hiding something big." "What?" "The way he looks at you. Or doesn't look at you. The way he can see your eyes change but can't focus on your face." Shadow's tail swished. "I've seen this before, long ago. A wolf who could see souls but not faces." "That's impossible." "Is it?" Shadow jumped onto the bathroom counter, studying her reflection as it finished changing. "Your curse affects what people see. But what if he already can't see it? What if he's immune because he's already broken in a way that matches your breaking?" Her wolf stirred with hope she didn't dare feel. "Even if that's true," she said, watching her plain features become beautiful in the mirror, "he still knows I'm cursed. Broken. Wrong." Or, Shadow suggested, his green eyes ancient and knowing, he recognizes another broken wolf trying to hide in plain sight. "Takes one to know one, little wolf." Tomorrow night, truth for truth. Her wolf whispered one word, "soon," and underneath that, quieter but insistent, "mate." Chapter 4. Iris had been pacing her apartment for 20 minutes, wearing a path in the carpet between the window and the door. Shadow watched from his perch on the bookshelf like a judgmental gargoyle, his tail twitching with each pass she made. "You're going to wear a hole in the carpet," he observed. "Also, you're already in the blue sweater. Your anxiety is showing. And you've checked your phone 17 times in the last 3 minutes." He said midnight, it's 11:47. She checked her phone again, making it 18 times. What if he changed his mind? What if Henderson got to him? What if... Her phone buzzed. The message was short, almost curt. "Outside. Too many eyes at the office." She peered out the window, heart hammering. Jasper's car idled at the curb, exhaust visible in the cool night air like dragon's breath. Even from 3 stories up, she could feel his presence, a gravitational pull her wolf couldn't ignore. "Interesting," Shadow purred, jumping down to wind around her legs. "A private meeting, away from cameras and witnesses. Either he's planning to murder you or mate you. This is a terrible idea." But she was already grabbing her bag, checking her reflection one more time. Night Iris stared back, beautiful, ethereal, everything day Iris wasn't. "All the best love stories start with terrible ideas." Shadow patted after her. "Romeo and Juliet, Titanic, Beauty and the Beast, those all ended badly. Romeo and Juliet died, Titanic sank, and Beauty ended up with Stockholm Syndrome? You're not helping. I'm providing perspective. Also, you forgot your keys." She grabbed them, hands shaking slightly. "What if this is about Henderson? What if he knows something?" "Then you'll face it together. That's what mates do." "We're not mates." "Tell that to your wolf who's currently composing an ode to his forearms." Jasper got out as she approached, moving to open her door with old-fashioned courtesy that made her stomach flutter. He was in jeans and a Henley, casual in a way that made him look younger, more approachable but no less dangerous. The Henley clung to his chest in ways that should be illegal, and yes, the forearms were on full display. "Thank you for coming." His voice was rougher than usual, like he hadn't slept. He waited until she was settled to close the door, then returned to the driver's seat. There were reporters at the office. "Henderson's complaint has attracted attention. Someone leaked it to the Globe." Where are we going? Somewhere we can talk without interruption. He pulled into traffic, handling the car with the same controlled precision he did everything. His knuckles were white on the steering wheel. Your aunt's nursing home, actually. She called me. What? Iris twisted to stare at him. Moira called you? How did she even get your number? I gave it to her yesterday when you were inside, in case of emergencies. His mouth curved slightly, but it wasn't quite a smile. She said this qualified. She was very insistent. I'm going to put her in a different home, one without phones. She's quite persuasive, told me things about PAC law I didn't know. Also, she threatened to call the local news about elderly abandonment if I didn't bring you by tonight. Said she had a reporter on speed dial. She didn't. She absolutely did. Showed me the contact. Someone named Chuck from Channel 5. He glanced at her, that strange, unfocused gaze she was starting to recognize. I like her. She reminds me of my grandmother, sweet until crossed, then absolutely terrifying. The nursing home was quiet at this hour, most residents asleep. But Moira sat in the garden courtyard, bundled in blankets despite the warm night, looking far more fragile than she had yesterday. The moonlight made her white hair glow silver, and for a moment, Iris could see the powerful wolf she'd once been. Finally, she said as they approached, I was starting to think you'd gotten lost. Sit, both of you. Aunt Moira, hush, child, we don't have time for protests. She fixed Jasper with those cloudy eyes that still saw too much. Mr. LeBlanc, you recognize PAC when you see it. It wasn't a question. Jasper nodded slowly, his whole body going still. Your silver moon, both of you. I can smell it, moonlight and ancient magic. What's left of it? Moira's eyes turned sad, centuries of loss in that look. Once we were 300 strong, now just us. The massacre was 18 years ago, Jasper said carefully. The reports said no survivors. The reports lied. Iris, show him your wrist. What? No. The scar, child, he needs to see. Moira, please, now. There was alpha command in the old woman's voice, weak but undeniable. Reluctantly, Iris pushed up her sleeve. A crescent-shaped scar marked her inner wrist, silver white against her skin, shimmering faintly in the moonlight. It was beautiful and terrible, a mark of what should have been. Jasper inhaled sharply, his fingers hovering over the mark without touching. That's a claiming mark, an alpha claiming mark, but incomplete, interrupted. She was 18, Moira said, her voice taking on the cadence of a storyteller. The night of the full moon, her parents were performing the alpha ceremony, passing their power to her, the first female alpha in 3 centuries. The pack was so proud. Moira, stop. Iris's voice cracked. The attack came during the ritual. Her uncle... Moira paused, coughing, the sound wet and painful. Marcus Gray led rogues into our territory. 30 of them, maybe more. They slaughtered everyone. Children, elders, pregnant women. No mercy. Her uncle? Jasper's voice turned dangerous, his wolf bleeding through. The temperature seemed to drop. Her own blood betrayed the pack. He wanted the alpha power. Thought if he killed his brother, Iris's father, it would pass to him. Moira pulled her blanket tighter, suddenly looking every one of her many years. But the ceremony had already begun. The power had already started transferring to Iris. Killing her would have destroyed it, not transferred it. Iris stood abruptly, unable to sit still. We're leaving. So he did something worse, Moira continued, ignoring her. He cursed her. Used blood magic, the old dark kind that demands sacrifice. Trapped her between forms. Not fully human, not fully wolf. Beautiful when the moon rises, ordinary when the sun rules. Neither one nor the other. Never whole. That's enough, Iris said, but her voice broke on the words. 18 years of pain threatened to spill out. Jasper stood too, moving closer to her. Not touching, but his presence was warm, solid, an anchor in the storm of memory. Blood magic requires the caster to survive for the curse to hold. Why didn't the curse break when Marcus died? He's not dead. Moira said quietly. The words hung in the air like a physical presence. Iris froze, her blood turning to ice. What? Marcus Gray is very much alive, child. I've been tracking him for 18 years. Moira's cloudy eyes sharpened to diamond hardness. He goes by a different name now, changed his face with surgery, his scent with magic, but the blood. Blood doesn't lie. Henderson. Marcus Henderson. The world tilted. Iris's knees buckled. Jasper caught her before she hit the ground, pulling her against his chest. His scent wrapped around her, pine and safety and barely contained rage. She could feel his heart hammering against her cheek, his arms trembling with the effort of staying human. Henderson is her uncle? His voice was deadly quiet, the kind of quiet that preceded violence. The CFO I was going to simply fire? The same. Moira struggled to stand, and suddenly Shadow was there, letting her lean on him despite his small size. He's been watching Iris for 3 years, waiting, planning. For what? Iris whispered against Jasper's chest. His Henley smelled like him, and she wanted to burrow into it and never come out. For you to manifest fully. The alpha power is still there, trapped by the curse but growing stronger every year. Like wine aging. If he kills you properly, with the right ritual at the right time, he can claim it. Jasper's arms tightened. A growl rumbled through his chest that made every hair on Iris's body stand up. It was the sound of an alpha ready to kill. The complaint, he said suddenly. He filed the complaint to separate us, to isolate her, get her alone. You figured that out quick. Moira smiled grimly. Good, she needs someone with brains. Her father was all heart, not enough strategy. It got him killed. Don't talk about my father, Iris snapped, pulling away from Jasper. Your father was my nephew, Moira said sharply. I loved him like a son, but he trusted too easily. Believed his brother could be redeemed right until Marcus tore his throat out. Iris made a sound like she'd been punched. I need to get you both somewhere safe. Jasper was already pulling out his phone, fingers flying over the screen. My pack has safe houses. No! Iris's voice came out stronger than she felt. I've been running for 18 years. I'm done. Iris, he's been right there. 3 years. And he's been right there, watching me. Watching Moira, drinking coffee in the break room, commenting on my reports. Her wolf stirred, rage cracking through the curse's hold like lightning through clouds. He let us think we were safe. Which is why we need to be smart about this, Jasper said. Smart? She laughed bitterly. I've been smart, careful, hidden, working nights, keeping my head down, never making friends. And for what? He found me anyway. Because you're magnificent, Moira said quietly. Even cursed, even suppressed, your alpha nature shines through. Those reports, that's pack protection instinct. Documenting threats, protecting the innocent. You couldn't help yourself. It's in your blood. I'm not an alpha. I'm nothing. I can't even shift properly. You're everything, Jasper said fiercely. Curse or no curse. Pretty words from someone who... She stopped abruptly. Who what? His eyes narrowed, that unfocused gaze intense despite not quite meeting hers. Who barely knows me. I know enough. He moved closer. I know you arrive at exactly 12:47 every night and leave at 7:45 every morning. I know you take your coffee with 2 sugars, but tell everyone you take it black. I know you drum your fingers when you're nervous and bite your lip when you're concentrating. You noticed all that in 3 days? I notice everything about you. His voice dropped, even things I can't quite explain. Shadow jumped onto the bench beside Moira, his tail swishing with importance. Right. It's past midnight, we're discussing pack business, and there's an alpha present. According to ancient familiar law, I can now grace you all with my voice. His green eyes gleamed with satisfaction. Perhaps we should focus on the murderous uncle situation. Jasper jumped back, staring at Shadow. Did that cat just talk? Yes, try to keep up. Shadow's whiskers twitched. Only to pack. Only between midnight and dawn. It's very exclusive. You should feel honored. I need to sit down, Jasper said faintly, sinking onto the bench. Join the club, Iris muttered. You're not just a cat, yet assez celled, Jasper said, still staring at Shadow. I'm a familiar, Shadow said primly, licking his paw. I protect the family. Been doing a terrible job of it, honestly, but in my defense, the curse is very powerful, and I'm just one cat. You knew about Henderson? Iris demanded. Suspected his scent was wrong, family but not family, tainted, dark. Shadow's tail lashed. I've been knocking coffee on him for 3 years trying to get a better sniff. Do you know how much coffee I've had to spill? My reputation is in tatters. We need to focus, Jasper said, visibly pulling himself together. Henderson doesn't know we know. That's our advantage. Our? Iris asked. You think I'm letting you face him alone? He moved closer, taking her hand. My wolf has chosen. Even if my human side doesn't fully understand it yet, even if there are. Complications. You're mine to protect. Her wolf howled with joy, but Iris pulled back. You don't understand. The curse can't be broken without his death. I'll never be whole. Never be able to fully shift. What kind of mate? The kind I want, he interrupted. The kind who documents corruption to protect strangers. Who works night shifts to hide but still can't help caring. Who faces her curse every dawn and dusk with courage I can't imagine. That's not courage. That's just survival. Sometimes they're the same thing. Moira cleared her throat. Touching as this is, we have a problem. Henderson knows about the complaint. He'll move soon. The full moon is in 4 days, the anniversary of the massacre. Let him, Jasper said, his eyes blazing. I have a plan. Which is? The Midsummer Gala, 3 nights from now. His smile was predatory, all teeth. Mandatory attendance for all senior staff, including Henderson. That's your plan? A party? A trap, he corrected. He'll have to maintain his cover, and with 500 witnesses, including half my pack. He can't perform a ritual murder, Moira finished. Clever, but he'll smell trap all over it. Will he? Or will he think we're still ignorant? Jasper pulled out his keys. Either way, I'm taking you both to my pack house tonight. Non-negotiable. Bossy Alpha, Shadow commented. I approve. Do you have good treats at this pack house? I don't need protection, Iris protested. No, Jasper agreed. But I need you safe. There's a difference. The way he said it made her wolf purr. Fine, she said. But Shadow comes too. Obviously, I have about 1,000 questions about the talking cat thing. Join the club, Iris muttered. As they helped Moira to the car, the elder whispered, Watch him carefully, child. There's something different about how he sees the world. Something that might make him immune to certain effects. What do you mean? Just watch. And remember, true mates recognize each other by more than sight alone. Iris glanced at Jasper, who was carefully helping Moira into the back seat. There was something different about him, something beyond the strange way his eyes never quite focused on faces. Her wolf whispered, Home. And for the first time in 18 years, Iris dared to hope that might be true. Chapter 5. The pack house was nothing like Iris expected. Instead of some rural compound, Jasper had driven them to a brownstone in Back Bay that screamed old money and discretion. 4 stories of limestone and secrets, with windows that watched the street like eyes. You live here? She asked, staring up at the building. Even at night, it radiated power, the kind that made other wolves cross the street rather than walk too close. When I'm not at the office. He helped Moira from the car, his movements gentle despite the tension radiating from him. Which lately is never, explains the insomnia, Shadow muttered, exploring the front steps with the dignity of a cat who'd found his castle. This place reeks of alpha anxiety, also expensive whiskey, and loneliness. The cat's commentary is going to take adjustment, Jasper said, but there was something almost fond in his tone. You get used to it, Iris said, or you go insane. Either way. Speaking of insane, Shadow added, There are 17 wards on this building. 17. That's either paranoia or experience. Experience, Jasper said grimly. Not everyone appreciates the Northern Pack's influence. Inside, the house was all dark wood and leather, masculine but warm. Persian rugs that probably cost more than Iris made in a year. Art on the walls that looked original. But also personal touches. A throw blanket tossed carelessly over a chair, coffee rings on an antique side table, books stacked everywhere instead of properly shelved. Jasper settled Moira in a ground-floor guest suite that was bigger than Iris's entire apartment. The elder immediately commandeered the bed, looking small but regal against the pillows. "Don't mind me," Moira said with a wave. "I'm just going to rest these old bones and definitely not eavesdrop on your mate bond negotiations through the wall." "Moira!" Iris protested. "What? The walls are thin. I can't help having excellent hearing." She winked. "Besides, someone needs to make sure he does it properly. Your father proposed to your mother 3 times before she said yes. Persistence is key." Jasper led Iris to his study on the 2nd floor, and she could feel him vibrating with contained energy. Shadow had already claimed the best armchair, a leather monstrosity that looked like it belonged in a gentleman's club. "We need to talk," Jasper said, moving to a crystal decanter on a side table. The whiskey he poured was amber gold, probably older than she was. "About everything. No more half-truths." "Truth for truth," Iris agreed, accepting the glass he offered. The whiskey burned, but it was a good burn, the kind that made her feel brave. "You first. There's something you're not telling me. Something about how you see things." He sat across from her, the desk between them like a barrier. She noticed he positioned himself so the lamp was behind her, casting her face in shadow. Always these small adjustments, these careful positions. "We all have ways of seeing," he said carefully. "Some more unusual than others." "That's not an answer. It's the beginning of one." He took a sip of whiskey, and she watched his throat work. "Tell me about the curse first. Everything. From the beginning." Iris stared into her whiskey, watching the amber liquid swirl like liquid sunset. "The night I turned 18. My parents were performing the alpha ceremony. It's rare for females, but our line carries the gene strongly. The moon was full, blood red. They called it the hunter's moon. I've heard of it. The silver moon alphas were legendary for their female alpha line. Were. The word tasted bitter as ash. My uncle Marcus, my father's younger brother, he'd always resented not being firstborn, not being chosen for alpha. He used to watch me during pack gatherings, and I thought it was pride. Family pride. I was so naive." Shadow jumped into her lap, his weight familiar and comforting. His purr rumbled through her bones. "The ceremony was almost complete," she continued, feeling the memories claw at her. "The pack bonds were transferring to me. I could feel every wolf, their loyalty, their strength. It was like becoming the heart of something vast and ancient." Then the attack came. Henderson, Marcus, led them? Rogues from 3 different territories. Wolves who'd been cast out for violence, for madness, for crimes their own packs couldn't forgive. He'd been gathering them for years, we learned later, promising them territory, power, freedom from pack law. Her voice broke. "They slaughtered everyone, parents, elders, children. My best friend was 7. 7. They didn't even let her shift before they—" Jasper moved around the desk, kneeling beside her chair. His hand covered hers on the glass, warm and solid. "You don't have to." "You wanted truth." She met his eyes, noting how he seemed to look through her rather than at her. "He tried to kill me, but the alpha bonds were already partially transferred. The power was mine, woven into my very essence. Killing me would have destroyed it, not transferred it to him. The magic doesn't work that way. It can only be given or inherited, never stolen. So he cursed you instead. Trapped me between forms. Never fully human, never fully wolf. Beautiful when hidden by night, ordinary when exposed by day." She laughed, but it came out cracked. "He said if I couldn't be a proper alpha, I should at least learn what it felt like to be nothing, to be overlooked, to be forgotten the moment someone looked away. You're not nothing. Jasper's hand found hers, squeezing tight enough to ground her. You're extraordinary. I'm broken. I can't shift properly. My wolf is caged most of the time, screaming to get out. What kind of alpha? What kind of mate? Can't even shift. The kind who still protects her pack, even cursed. He stood, pulling her up with him, the whiskey forgotten. Those reports documenting every threat to the company's people? That's alpha instinct. You couldn't help yourself. It's just data analysis. It's protection, pack protection. He moved closer, backing her against the bookshelf. Books pressed into her spine, old leather and older paper. Every instinct I have says you're my mate. My wolf knew it the moment you walked into that office, smelling like vanilla and lightning. Your wolf is mistaken. My wolf is never wrong. His hands braced on either side of her, caging her in. She could feel the heat radiating from him, see the muscle in his jaw twitching with restraint. And neither is yours. I can feel it, even suppressed. It calls to mine across the curse like voices across water. That's impossible. The curse doesn't matter. He leaned closer, his breath warm against her ear. I see you for what you are, not what the curse makes you appear to be. How? How can you see past it when everyone else, because I see differently than everyone else? His voice was rough, almost pained. I've always seen differently. Had to learn to trust other senses more than sight. What does that mean? It means your scent tells me more than your face ever could. Vanilla and wolf and home. Your voice, especially when you're trying not to laugh at Shadow's commentary. The way your heartbeat speeds up when I get close. His lips brushed her ear, not quite a kiss. Like right now, like thunder before rain. Her pulse was indeed racing, hammering against her ribs like a caged bird. That's just biology. It's recognition. He pulled back enough to look at her, or toward her. His gaze unfocused in that way she was beginning to understand meant something more than distraction. I need you to understand something. Whether you're day iris or night iris, whether you can shift or not, whether the curse breaks or stays forever, I want you. You don't know what you're saying. I know exactly what I'm saying. His hands cupped her face, thumbs stroking her cheeks with devastating gentleness. I'm saying I choose you. Curse and all, broken pieces and sharp edges and all. But he kissed her. It wasn't gentle. It was claiming, demanding. 18 years of loneliness and hiding poured into the contact. Her wolf surged against the curse's cage, howling with joy so loud she was sure he must feel it. The kiss tasted like whiskey and promises, like coming home after a lifetime of wandering. When he pulled back, they were both breathing hard. Feel that? He asked roughly. That's not affected by any curse. Jasper, the gala, 3 nights from now. He rested his forehead against hers, and she could feel him trembling with restraint. Come as my mate. I'm not your mate. Not officially, but we both know the truth. He stepped back, and the loss of his heat was almost painful. Moving to his desk, he pulled out a folder. Henderson will be there. He'll have to maintain his cover. And when he sees us together, officially, he'll know I have an alpha's protection. Understanding dawned like cold water. He can't move against me without challenging you directly. And challenging me means facing my entire pack. His smile was predatory, all teeth and promise of violence. The Northern Pack doesn't take kindly to those who harm our Luna. I'm not your Luna. Not yet. He opened the folder, revealing official pack documents, the old kind, written on parchment that smelled like age and magic. But by the gala, you will be, if you accept. Mate bond papers, Luna designation, everything legally binding in both human and pack law. The documents seemed to pulse with power, waiting for her signature to complete them. This is insane, she breathed. We've known each other 3 days. This is protection. He moved closer again, unable to stay away. Also truth. My wolf chose you before I even knew your name. Before I knew about the curse, about Henderson, about any of it. Mine chose you too, she admitted quietly, the words pulled from her like teeth. even through the curse. It's been screaming your name since that first night. Then it's settled. Nothing's settled. Henderson is still out there. The curse is still details, Shadow interrupted from his chair. The important thing is the mate bond. Once that's official, the curse might... He stopped abruptly, ears flattening against his skull. What? Iris demanded. Nothing. Probably nothing. But his green eyes were calculating in a way that made her nervous. Just familiar magic is tricky. Sometimes it reacts to mate bonds unexpectedly. Shadow, what aren't you telling me? Many things. I'm mysterious. Cats are supposed to be mysterious. He jumped down, heading for the door with suspicious casualness. I'm going to check on Moira. You two continue your sexually charged negotiations. Shadow! But the cat was gone, leaving them alone with the weight of truth and choice. Your familiar is hiding something, Jasper observed. He always is. She looked back at the papers, at her name already written in Jasper's sharp handwriting. This is real? You want a mate bond with someone who might never be whole? You're already whole. He moved behind her, arms wrapping around her waist. She could feel his heartbeat against her back, steady and sure. You're just in pieces right now, but pieces can be put back together. Not cursed pieces. We'll see. He pressed a kiss to her neck, and her wolf practically purred despite the cage. The gala's at midnight. A masquerade theme. Everyone's faces hidden. Perfect for us both. Why perfect? Because masks make everyone equal. No one can judge faces when everyone's hidden. His arms tightened. The masks come off at midnight. You'll still be in your beautiful form. Until dawn, then everyone sees the truth. They see one truth, I see another. He turned her in his arms, and she could see him trying to focus on her face, the effort clear in the tension around his eyes. I see my mate, who's brilliant and brave and absolutely terrible at accepting compliments. I'm not terrible at... He kissed her again, effectively ending the argument. This kiss was softer, deeper, a promise rather than a claim. When they broke apart, her phone showed 3:47 a.m. 4 hours until dawn, she said. Until I change. Then we have 4 hours. He pulled her toward the door. Come on. Where? The roof. I want to show you something. The brownstone's roof had been transformed into a garden, complete with a greenhouse and seating areas. Fairy lights wound through trellises, creating constellations. But Jasper led her to the edge where the city sprawled below in its own lights. My territory, he said, gesture encompassing everything. Everything from here to the harbor. 400 wolves under my protection. That's a lot of responsibility. It's about to be 402. He pulled her against his chest, her back to his front so they could both look out at the city. You and Moira, we haven't agreed. Your wolf has. I can feel it. He nuzzled her neck, and she felt his teeth graze her skin, a promise of a claiming bite. Even cursed, it recognizes home. He was right. Her wolf was practically singing, straining against the curse to get closer to him. It was like magnetism, like gravity, like inevitability. What if it's not enough? She asked. What if Henderson... Then we face him together. He turned her to face him, hands framing her face. No more running, no more hiding. Together. The sun was starting to lighten the eastern sky, pink and gold creeping across the horizon. Iris felt the familiar tingle of the curse preparing to activate, her skin prickling with unwanted magic. It's starting, she whispered. I know, your eyes are changing, silver fading to brown. He traced her cheekbone with one finger, the touch feather light. Still beautiful. You don't even... She stopped herself before saying you can't even see it. I see what matters. He kissed her forehead as the curse took hold, transforming her features. She could feel her face shifting, becoming plainer, more forgettable. There, complete. She pulled away, knowing what he'd see now. Plain face, limp hair, nothing special. The kind of face that people's eyes skipped over in crowds. Still you, he said softly, and she could hear the truth in it. Still mine. Her wolf, now fully suppressed until nightfall, managed one word through the cage. Yes. The gala, she said. I'll go. As my mate? As your date. We'll see about the rest. He smiled, and something in her chest eased. Even if there were secrets between them, even if he saw the world differently than others, he saw her, really saw her. It's a start, he said. Shadow appeared on the roof wall, tail twitching with urgency. Sun's up, curse is fully active, and Henderson just pulled into the office parking lot. How do you know that? Jasper demanded. Familiar network, very efficient. Also, I may have convinced some pigeons to spy for me. Shadow's tail swished. He's looking for Iris. Seems upset she's not at her desk. Very upset. Throwing things upset. Let him look, Jasper said, pulling out his phone. I'm calling an emergency board meeting. Time to start dismantling his network. Be careful, Iris warned. If he suspects we know, he won't. Jasper's smile was sharp as broken glass. I'm just a CEO who sees things differently than most. What threat could I possibly be? Shadow laughed, actually laughed, the sound like bells. Oh, I like this plan. Underestimation as a weapon. The best kind, Jasper agreed. As they went back inside, Iris caught sight of herself in a mirror, day face firmly in place. Plain, forgettable, ordinary. Stop looking, Jasper said, not even glancing at the mirror. You're perfect. You're biased. I'm right. Her wolf, even silenced, agreed. 3 nights until the gala. 3 nights until Henderson made his move. 3 nights to figure out if an alpha with secrets and a cursed heir could actually break a curse that had held for 18 years. Shadow jumped onto her shoulder. No pressure, he said cheerfully. Just the fate of the last silver moon wolves, the entire northern pack, and your mate Bond hanging in the balance. You're not helping. I'm providing perspective. He nuzzled her cheek. Also, I have a plan, but you're not going to like it. Why? It involves trust, and possibly me biting Henderson again. Harder this time. Despite everything, Iris laughed, and in that moment, with Jasper's hand in hers and Shadow plotting violence, she felt something she hadn't felt in 18 years. Hope. Chapter 6. Stop fidgeting, Shadow commanded from his perch on the hotel vanity. You look magnificent, and we both know it. Iris adjusted the silver mask for the 100th time. The midsummer gala started in 10 minutes, and she'd been hiding in the bathroom of Jasper's suite for the last 20. It's almost midnight. What if the curse... The invitation said midnight to 4 a.m., Shadow interrupted. You'll be in full beautiful form the entire time. His tail twitched anxiously. Though something feels wrong about tonight. The air tastes like copper and old magic. Don't say that. Would you prefer I lie? Fine. Everything will be perfect. No one will try to kill us. And Henderson definitely isn't planning something horrible. A knock at the door made her jump. Iris? Jasper's voice, patient but with an edge of tension. The cat's right about you looking magnificent. Less right about the doom and gloom. You haven't seen me yet. I don't need to. A pause. Also, Shadow's been sending me photo updates on my phone. Shadow! What? He asked nicely. The cat's tail swished innocently. Besides, someone needs to document this. You look like a gothic princess about to wage war. She did, actually. The dress was midnight blue, scattered with tiny diamonds that caught the light like stars. The silver mask covered the upper half of her face, elaborate enough that even when it came off at midnight, the curse wouldn't immediately show its daytime effects. But underneath the beauty, she'd hidden 2 silver knives, one in her bodice, one strapped to her thigh. Iris opened the door to find Jasper in a perfectly tailored tuxedo, his own mask black and simple. He went still, and she watched his eyes try to focus on her face before sliding away to that familiar spot near her ear. You're wearing vanilla perfume, he said softly. And something else. Jasmine? And he frowned. Fear. You're afraid. How can you smell that from there? I can smell everything about you. He offered his arm, but his body was tense, coiled. My wolf's been pacing all day. Something's coming. Henderson will be there. Counting on it. His smile was sharp. He's been looking for you for 3 days. Your sudden sick leave has him. Concerned. 3 of my pack members reported seeing him at your apartment building. What? You're safe. They didn't let him get close. Jasper's hand covered hers on his arm. But he's desperate. Desperate men make mistakes. Or they make grand gestures, Shadow muttered, jumping onto Jasper's shoulder. The kind that involve bloodshed. The ballroom was on the top floor with views of Boston Harbor. 500 guests in masks and formal wear, the cream of Boston society mixed with what Iris now recognized as pack members. But something was off. Too many heartbeats, too many scents that didn't match the number of visible guests. I can smell wolves, she whispered. More than there should be. About 1/3 of the guests are mine, Jasper confirmed, tension threading through his voice. But you're right, there are others, rogues maybe, stay close. They entered together and conversation stuttered to a stop. Even with masks, people recognized Jasper, his height, his presence, the way he moved like a predator in formal wear. But there were whispers too, eyes tracking Iris with unusual interest. Mr. LeBlanc, a woman in an elaborate peacock mask approached. And this must be the mysterious analyst everyone's talking about. Mrs. Blackwood, Jasper's tone was politely neutral, but Iris felt him tense. May I present Iris Morgan, our new senior data analyst. The night shift ghost, Mrs. Blackwood said, extending a manicured hand. Her scent was wrong, wolf, but tainted with something chemical. Henderson's been quite vocal about your unusual hours. Has he? Iris kept her voice steady, but her hand moved unconsciously toward the hidden knife. Oh yes, claims you're manipulating Mr. LeBlanc, taking advantage of his condition. The woman's smile was visible beneath her mask, sharp as broken glass. Jasper went rigid beside her. My condition? Your difficulty with faces, dear. Mrs. Blackwood's smile widened. Henderson's been quite concerned that someone might exploit your inability to recognize deception. He's gathered quite a bit of support. Amazing what people will believe when properly. Motivated. She drifted away, message delivered. That wasn't Blackwood, Jasper said quietly. Wrong scent, wrong voice pattern. A shifter? Or something else? He pulled her onto the dance floor. We need to find Henderson before Mr. LeBlanc, a male voice dripping false concern. Might I cut in? Henderson. Even through his elaborate wolf mask, she recognized his voice, the uncle who'd destroyed everything. But his scent was different, stronger, mixed with something that made her wolf recoil. Jasper's arm tightened around her. I don't think so. Come now, Henderson said. Surely you can spare one dance with your CFO, unless the rumors are true? Which rumors would those be? Jasper's tone could have frozen hell. That you're involved with a subordinate, 2 subordinates actually, who claim to be the same person despite looking nothing alike. Henderson smiled beneath his mask. The board is concerned, so concerned that they've asked me to handle the situation personally. The board can— I'd love to dance, Iris interrupted, placing a hand on Jasper's chest. She needed to know what he was planning. One dance! Jasper's eyes blazed with fury, but she pressed her palm harder against his chest, feeling his heartbeat. Trust me, she tried to convey. He stepped back, letting Henderson take his place, but she could feel his wolf tracking her every movement. Her uncle's touch made her skin crawl. The curse recognized its creator, writhing inside her like a living thing trying to escape. But there was something else. Another presence. Another scent clinging to him. Young, female, terrified. You've been avoiding me, Henderson said, leading her into a waltz with practiced ease. I've been sick. For 3 days? How unfortunate. His grip tightened painfully. You know, you remind me of someone. Oh? A girl I knew once, 18 years ago. He spun her roughly, and she caught a glimpse of something in his jacket. A photograph. A young girl with silver eyes. She had your scent. Vanilla and wolf. She thought she could be alpha. I'm human. Are you? He leaned closer and she could smell blood on his breath. Fresh blood. Or are you something else? Something that only appears after midnight? Something that should have died with the rest of the Silver Moon pack? Her heart hammered. I don't know what you mean. I think you do. His voice dropped. I think you're exactly who I've been looking for, my dear lost niece. The one whose power belongs to me. Your niece is dead. Everyone knows the Silver Moon pack was massacred. Bodies were never found for 2 members. His fingers dug into her waist hard enough to bruise. The heir and a healer. And now, 18 years later, a girl who smells like Silver Moon appears in my company. Working nights. Hiding. Just like a cursed wolf would. Conspiracy theories. Facts. He stopped dancing abruptly. You have 1 hour to meet me in the parking garage. Alone. Or I'll do something unfortunate to someone you care about. I don't know what you're talking about. He pulled out his phone, showing her a photo. A young girl, maybe 16, with silver eyes and dark hair, chained in what looked like a basement. My daughter, Luna. She's been so hoping to meet her cousin. The only other Silver Moon heir left. Iris's blood turned to ice. You're lying. The birthmark on her wrist says otherwise. He zoomed in, showing a crescent moon mark identical to Iris's own. 1 hour, or she dies slowly. And then I'll challenge your alpha publicly for conduct unbecoming. The scandal will destroy him, and you'll have no protection. He's not my alpha. His scent is all over you. Henderson stepped back. 1 hour, level B3. Come alone or Luna pays the price. And Iris? If you shift, she dies. The chains are silver. They'll burn through her throat if she struggles. He vanished into the crowd. Jasper appeared instantly, pulling her against him. What did he say? He knows. Her voice shook. He knows who I am. And Jasper, he has a daughter. Another Silver Moon heir. He's using her as leverage. Luna, Jasper said grimly. The medical bills. I should have investigated further. He wants me to meet him in an hour, alone. Or he kills her. Absolutely not. She's innocent. She's family. Iris's voice cracked. She's the only other Silver Moon left besides Moira and me. It's a trap. I know, but what choice do I have? Shadow now, Jasper said, apparently to thin air. The lights went out. Panic erupted. 500 people in sudden darkness. But emergency lighting kicked in, casting everything in blood red. Ladies and gentlemen, Jasper's voice carried over the chaos, pure alpha command making everyone freeze. Please remain calm. We're experiencing a minor power issue. Minor my tail, Shadow said, appearing at their feet. I chewed through 3 cables for this. Why? Iris demanded. Because, Jasper pulled her toward a side door, Henderson just revealed himself and I wanted witnesses. But more importantly, he stopped as they entered a service corridor where pack members waited. We have 43 minutes to find Luna before you're supposed to meet him. He threatened a challenge? A woman asked. Iris recognized her from accounting. Maria Chen, but her eyes now glowed gold. He threatened my mate, Jasper corrected. And he's holding a Silver Moon heir hostage. I'm not. You are. He pulled papers from his jacket. You signed them yesterday. I signed preliminary documents, which became binding at midnight. He checked his watch. 3 minutes ago. You tricked me. I protected you. He cupped her face, his touch grounding her. Henderson can't touch the recognized Luna of the Northern Pack without formal challenge. But Luna doesn't have that protection. Iris pulled away. I have to go. Not alone. He'll kill her. He'll kill you both. Jasper's phone buzzed. He checked it, his expression darkening. Security footage. Henderson left the building 20 minutes ago, but there were others with him. Rogues. How many? 15, maybe 20. He showed her the footage. Dark figures loading something, someone into a van. They're not heading to B3. This was misdirection. Then where? Moira knows, Shadow said suddenly. She's been tracking Henderson for 18 years. She'll know his safe houses. Moira's voice came from behind them. The elder stood supported by 2 pack members, dressed in ancient ceremonial robes. The warehouse district? There's an old Silver Moon property there that was never sold. He doesn't know I know about it. How far? 20 minutes, but Iris... Moira's expression was grave. If he has Luna, if she's truly Silver Moon, he can use her for the ritual instead. Her blood is pure, uncursed. It would be easier to extract the power from her than from you. Then we stop him. The curse will die with him. Moira pulled out a silver blade, ancient and gleaming, as will his hold on both of you. Both? If Luna is his daughter, she's cursed too. Different curse, but his magic marks her. Moira moved closer. You'll need to choose, child. Save her and risk yourself, or... There's no choice, Iris said firmly. She's family. She's Pack. We don't leave Pack behind. Jasper pulled her close. Then we go together. All of us. The lights came back on. Not the emergency reds, but harsh white. The ballroom beyond erupted in confused voices. He's officially fugitive, Jasper announced to the gathered pack. Any wolf can legally hunt him. But be careful, he has rogues and a hostage. I can track them, Shadow said. Their scent is all over the building. Fear and silver and dark magic. Midnight chime from the harbor bells. Iris felt the curse shudder. Not its usual transformation, but something different. Confused. Threatened, like it knew its creator was about to do something terrible. It's reacting, Moira said. He's beginning the ritual. We need to move. Now. Wait, Iris said. Henderson made a mistake. He said if I shift, Luna dies. But he doesn't know that you can shift now, Jasper finished. The mate bond cracked the curse enough. Not fully, but maybe enough. She looked at the gathered pack. He's expecting Day Iris. Weak, unable to shift. He's not expecting an alpha, Shadow said with savage satisfaction. He's not expecting you to be what you were always meant to be. She felt it then, the pack bonds humming through her, not complete but present. Hundreds of wolves ready to fight for her, and underneath it all, her own wolf, still caged but rattling the bars with newfound strength. Let's go, she said. As they raced toward the cars, Jasper caught her hand. Whatever happens, I know, she said, but we're going to save them both. Luna and the power he's trying to steal. How? She smiled, and it was all teeth. By giving him exactly what he wants. Me, but not the me he's expecting. Shadow laughed, dark and delighted. Oh, this is going to be fun. Bloody, but fun. Outside in the Boston night, Henderson waited with his hostage and his rogues, preparing for a ritual 18 years in the making. He had no idea the curse he'd created was about to become his destruction. The hunt was on. Chapter 7. The warehouse district at midnight looked like a mouthful of broken teeth, abandoned buildings jutting against the sky, windows dark and shattered. Iris could smell the water from the harbor, salt and rot and something else. Blood. Fresh blood. This is wrong, Shadow hissed from her shoulder as they approached the building Moira had identified. The air tastes like a trap. Everything about this is a trap, Jasper said, his hand finding hers in the darkness. 40 pack members spread out behind them, silent as death. But we're walking in anyway. Because that's what family does, Iris said, thinking of Luna's terrified eyes in that photo. 16 years old, the same age Iris had been when she'd lost everything. The warehouse loomed before them, 3 stories of corroded metal and broken dreams. But underneath the decay, Iris could smell it. Pack, old Pack, Silver Moon Pack. This was ours, she breathed. Your father's first acquisition, Moira confirmed from behind them, supported by 2 wolves. She'd insisted on coming despite protests. He bought it to help young wolves start businesses. Marcus always hated that, charity he called it. Weakness. He kept it all these years, Jasper said, his tone thoughtful. Why? Because he's sentimental, Shadow said with disgust. The worst monsters always are. They were 50 feet from the entrance when the lights blazed on, harsh sodium lamps that turned everything orange and wrong. Henderson's voice echoed from speakers bolted to the walls. "Right on time, though you brought more friends than agreed. That's cheating, dear niece." "Let Luna go," Iris called out. "She's innocent." "Innocent?" Henderson laughed, the sound distorted through the old speakers. "She's Silver Moon. She's Alpha Blood. She's everything I made her to be, my greatest creation and my biggest disappointment." A scream echoed from inside, young, female, pained. Iris surged forward, but Jasper caught her. "That's what he wants. You emotional, reckless. That's my cousin. And walking into his trap won't save her." His eyes did that unfocused thing, looking past her face, but his grip was steady. "We go in smart. Shadow, can you—" "Already on it." The cat leaped down, disappearing into the shadows. "Give me 3 minutes. I'll find her." Those were the longest 3 minutes of Iris's life. She could hear movement inside, multiple heartbeats, at least 20 rogues, maybe more, and underneath it all, one rabbit-quick heartbeat that had to be Luna. Shadow materialized from a broken window. "Second floor, northeast corner. She's in bad shape. Silver chains, wolfsbane in the air, but alive. And," he paused, "she's not cursed, not like you were. But there's something else. Something wrong with her scent." "What kind of wrong?" "Like she's been drugged, or prepared, like—" Shadow's ears flattened. "Like a sacrifice." "The ritual," Moira gasped. "He's going to use her instead of Iris. Virgin Silver Moon blood untainted by curse. It would be more powerful." "Over my dead body," Iris growled. "That's probably his backup plan," Shadow said helpfully. The warehouse doors exploded outward and rogues poured out. Not 20, but 30, 40, all shifted and snarling. Behind them, Henderson emerged, dragging Luna by silver chains. The girl was barely conscious, her skin blistered where the silver touched. "Decisions, decisions," Henderson called out, his voice carrying across the space. He'd shifted partially, human form but with wolf claws and teeth, an abomination caught between shapes. "Save your cousin or protect your mate. You can't do both." He was right. The rogues were spreading out, surrounding them. Half moved toward Jasper and the pack, the other half circled Iris. "Together," Jasper said, but Iris was already moving. "No. Apart." She pressed something into his hand, Moira's silver blade, taken when the elder wasn't looking. "Save Luna, whatever it takes. Iris—" She kissed him, quick and desperate. "Trust me, I know what I'm doing." She didn't, but her wolf did. The shift came easier this time, the curse cracking further with each transformation. Her silver wolf stood massive in the orange light, and several rogues actually stepped back. "Beautiful," Henderson said. "Just like your mother. She looked just like that when I killed her." Iris lunged. The rogues met her halfway, a wave of teeth and claws and rage. But behind her she heard Jasper roar, his black wolf leading the pack toward Luna. The plan was working. Divide and conquer. She fought like she'd never fought before, her wolf finally free enough to access its full strength. Rogues fell before her, but more kept coming. They weren't trying to kill her, she realized. They were hurting her, pushing her toward. The trap snapped closed. Silver nets hidden in the rubble tangled around her legs. She went down hard, and Henderson was there, that ritual blade in his half-shifted hand. "Did you think I'd make the same mistake twice?" He pressed the blade to her throat. "The ritual doesn't need you willing. It just works better that way. Cleaner, but messy, works too." Across the yard, she could see Jasper had reached Luna, Moira working to unlock the silver chains. But there were too many rogues between them. He couldn't get back to her in time. "Your mate's busy," Henderson observed. "Good. I want him to watch this. Want him to see what happens when someone takes what's mine." He began to speak in the old tongue, words that made the air itself recoil. The blade started to glow, and Iris felt the pull, her alpha power responding to the call of blood magic. But then Luna screamed. not in pain, in rage. The girl exploded into her wolf form, silver like Iris, but smaller, younger. She tore through the rogues around her with savage efficiency, and Iris understood. Luna hadn't been drugged. She'd been playing possum, waiting. Impossible, Henderson breathed. The chains weren't real, Silver, Luna snarled, finding her human voice even in wolf form. I switched them 3 days ago. I've been waiting, Father. Waiting for you to show your true face. Henderson's concentration shattered. The ritual blade dimmed, and Iris twisted, breaking free of the silver nets through sheer will. But Henderson still had the blade, and now his face was twisted with absolute rage. Betrayed by my own blood. How poetic. He raised the blade. Then you'll both die. He brought it down, and Jasper's black wolf intercepted, taking the blade in his shoulder instead of Iris's heart. He went down hard, blood spreading dark across his fur. No! Iris's scream was both human and wolf. Henderson laughed. Even better. Watch your mate die slowly. Wolfsbane lace silver prevents healing. He has minutes, maybe less. Iris felt it through their bond, Jasper's pain, his wolf weakening, the poison spreading, but also his love, his acceptance, his peace, with dying for her. Not today, she told him through the bond. Not ever. She turned to Henderson, and something in her expression made him step back. You forgot something, she said, her voice carrying power that made every wolf present freeze. The blade responds to alpha power, true alpha power. And you were never an alpha. You were just a jealous little boy who never grew up. She held out her hand. Give me the blade. Never. I wasn't asking. She didn't move, didn't gesture, but the blade tore itself from Henderson's grip, flying to her hand. It felt warm, familiar, like coming home. Impossible, Henderson breathed. The curse is breaking, has been breaking since I found my mate, since I found my pack. She moved toward him, the blade glowing silver white in her hand. You bound me with isolation and self-hatred. But love? Love breaks curses, even yours. Then I'll kill you the old-fashioned way. Henderson shifted fully, his gray wolf scarred and massive. They met in the center of the yard, two wolves locked in combat that was 18 years in the making. But Henderson had made a crucial error. He'd assumed Iris was still the frightened 18-year-old he'd cursed. She wasn't. She was an alpha who'd spent 18 years learning patience, learning to fight from the shadows, learning to protect others even when she couldn't protect herself. And she had something he didn't, something he'd never understood. She had pack. Luna hit him from the left, her silver wolf small but vicious. Shadow appeared from nowhere, claws finding Henderson's eyes. Moira, in a display of strength that shouldn't have been possible at her age, shifted for the first time in years, a white wolf, ancient and terrible. And the northern pack, Jasper's wolves, surrounded them all. Not attacking, just watching, witnessing. Henderson fought them all, his madness giving him strength. But when he threw Luna aside, when he hurt the girl he'd raised and terrorized, something in Iris snapped. No. Something in Iris awakened. The full alpha power, the one that had been transferring when he'd cursed her, finally completed its journey. 18 years late, but inevitable. She didn't need the blade, didn't need anything but her own voice. Submit, she commanded, and every wolf in the yard, rogue, northern, everyone, dropped to their bellies. Everyone except Henderson. He fought the command, fought his own biology, fought so hard something inside him broke. His wolf form shuddered, convulsed, and then he was human, fully human. The wolf burned out of him by his own resistance to alpha command. My wolf, he gasped, naked and pathetic on the cold ground. You took my wolf. No. Iris shifted back, standing tall despite her exhaustion. You gave it away the moment you betrayed your pack. I just made it official. She turned away from him, rushing to Jasper. He was still breathing, but barely. The wound from the ritual blade wasn't healing, black veins spreading from it like poison. "Stay with me," she begged, pressing her hands to the wound. "Please, I just found you." "Worth it," he managed, his eyes trying to focus on her face but failing as always. "You're safe. That's enough." "It's not enough." She looked at the blade still in her hand. It hummed with power, with possibility. "Moira, the blade, can it heal as well as harm?" "In the right hands," Moira said weakly, having shifted back. "Alpha hands. But the cost, I don't care about the cost." She pressed the blade to Jasper's wound, and instead of cutting, it began to glow. But it wasn't enough. The poison was too deep, too spread. "Together," Luna said suddenly, kneeling beside her. "We're both Silver Moon, both alpha blood. Together." They placed their hands on the blade together, cousin beside cousin, and the light exploded from it. Not silver, but moonlight itself, pure and cleansing. The poison burned away, the wound closed, and Jasper's breathing steadied. His eyes opened, still unfocused, but alive. So beautifully alive. "You saved me," he said. "We saved each other," Iris corrected. "That's what mates do." "That's what Pack does," Luna added quietly. Around them, the rogues who hadn't fled were surrendering. The Northern Pack was howling victory, and somewhere Henderson was being dragged away, human, powerless, broken. But Iris only had eyes for Jasper, who was looking at her with that unfocused gaze that she was beginning to understand meant more than she'd realized. "There's something I need to tell you," he said, "about how I see—" "Later," she said, kissing him. "We have time now. All the time in the world." Shadow jumped onto her shoulder. "Well, that was dramatic. Can we go home now? All this heroism has made me hungry." "You're always hungry," Luna said, and Iris was amazed to hear her cousin laugh. After everything, the girl could still laugh. "Home," Jasper agreed, struggling to stand. "All of us." As they helped each other toward the cars, Iris felt the curse shatter completely. Not crack, not break, shatter. She could feel her wolf, fully free for the first time in 18 years. But more than that, she could feel the bonds, to Jasper, to Luna, to the Pack, even to Shadow, who was currently complaining about the lack of quality tuna at the warehouse. She was whole, not because the curse was broken, but because she'd found what Henderson had tried to take from her: family, Pack, love. The rest was just details. Although as she watched Jasper navigate purely by scent and sound, never quite looking at anyone's face, she suspected one detail was about to become very important. But that was a revelation for another night. Tonight, they were alive. They were together. They were home. Chapter 8. Dawn was coming. Iris stood on the brownstone's roof garden, watching the sky lighten from black to deep purple. In 30 minutes, the sun would rise. For 18 years, this moment had meant transformation, loss, becoming less than herself. Now she waited to see who she truly was. "You should rest," Jasper said from behind her, wrapping a blanket around her shoulders. His hands lingered, and she could feel the tremor in them. "It's been a long night. I can't." She leaned back against him, feeling the bandages under his shirt where the ritual blade had nearly killed him. "I need to know if it's really broken." Through their bond, she felt his concern, his love, his absolute certainty that she was perfect regardless. But underneath it, something else, a nervousness that didn't match the moment. "And if it's not?" he asked. "Then we deal with it. Together." She turned in his arms, studying his face. Even now, his eyes wouldn't quite meet hers, focusing somewhere past her left ear. "Jasper, what aren't you telling me?" "After," he said quietly. "After we know about the curse." Luna sat curled in a chair nearby, wrapped in one of Jasper's hoodies that swallowed her small frame. She hadn't left Iris's side since the confrontation, as if afraid her newfound family would vanish. "The curse was tied to your uncle's wolf," Moira said from the doorway, Shadow in her arms. His wolf is dead. That should be enough. Should be. Iris watched the horizon. But we won't know until... The first ray of sunlight broke over the harbor. It hit her like a baptism. Not pain, but pure sensation. Like diving into cool water after years in the desert. Her skin tingled, her bones hummed with freedom. She looked at her hands. The same hands. Checked her reflection in the window. Night Iris's face stared back, even as the sun climbed higher. Beautiful. Still beautiful. "It's broken," she breathed. Then louder, laughing, "It's broken." Jasper spun her around and she expected him to kiss her, but instead, he just held her, his face buried in her neck. "I can feel it," he said against her skin. "Your wolf is free. Completely free." She pulled back to look at him, and something in his expression made her heart skip. He looked, terrified. "Jasper? There's something I need to tell you." He stepped back, his hands clenching and unclenching. "Something I should have told you from the beginning. You're scaring me. The night we met when you asked why I couldn't look at you properly during the day." He turned away, facing the sunrise. "It wasn't the curse. It was never the curse." "What do you mean?" Luna made a small sound of understanding. Oh, that's why you track movement. Why you recognized Iris by scent even when... When what? Iris demanded. Jasper turned back, and for the first time, he deliberately tried to look directly at her face. His eyes moved, struggled, failed to focus. The effort was visible, painful. "I can't see faces," he said quietly. "Any faces. Ever." The world seemed to stop. "I have prosopagnosia, face blindness, have had it since I was 16. The words came out in a rush now. "My first shift went wrong. Skull fracture that healed badly. Damaged the part of my brain that recognizes faces. But you run a company, you lead a pack, by scent, voice, movement patterns, body language." He laughed bitterly. "I've gotten very good at faking eye contact. Looking at ears, noses, anywhere but the eyes I can't quite see." Iris sank into the nearest chair. "All this time. Your curse changes how you appear to others, but to me?" He knelt in front of her, his hands finding hers by touch rather than sight. "You've always been the same, day or night, cursed or free. Your face is just. Colors and movement to me, like looking at water." "That's why you were immune," Shadow said, understanding dawning in his voice. "The curse affected visual perception, but you already couldn't see what it was changing." Jasper's grip on her hands tightened. "I fell in love with your scent, vanilla and wolf and home. Your voice, especially when you laugh. The way you move, like you're ready to fight the world. Your soul, Iris. I fell in love with your soul because that's all I could see." Tears were streaming down Iris's face. "You literally couldn't see the difference between beautiful me and plain me. You were never plain to me. You were always just you." He pulled something from his pocket, a folded paper. "The termination letter from that first night. I kept it because that's when I knew. Not what you looked like, but who you were. Fierce, protective, willing to fight for strangers. Why didn't you tell me? At first, I didn't realize you were cursed. I thought everyone was overreacting about you looking different. Then when I understood." He looked down, or tried to. "I was afraid you'd think I was broken too. That two broken people couldn't make something whole." "Jasper, I'm sorry, I should have..." She kissed him, hard, pouring 18 years of insecurity and pain and relief into it. When she pulled back, he was crying too. "You loved me when you couldn't even see me," she whispered. "I saw you better than anyone," he corrected. "I saw what mattered." "This is beautiful and all," Shadow interjected, "but I feel compelled to point out that I knew all along and showed remarkable restraint in not revealing it." "You knew?" Iris turned on the cat. "Of course I knew. The way he tracked everyone by scent, never made direct eye contact. Classic face-blind behavior." Shadow's tail swished. "But it wasn't my secret to tell." "The pack knows," Jasper added quietly. "Most of them." They help me subtly. Announce themselves when they enter rooms, wear consistent cologne, small things. They protect you, Luna said softly. Like a real pack should. Like you protected Iris all those years, Moira added, unable to see the very thing that tormented her. Iris stood, pulling Jasper up with her. Show me. What? Show me how you see me. All of it. He hesitated, then nodded. Moving closer, he didn't look at her face, but everywhere else. His hands came up, hovering near but not touching. Your height, 5'6". You stand with your weight slightly forward, always ready to run or fight. His hands move to her hair without touching. Dark catches the light, smells like vanilla shampoo, and something uniquely you. He inhaled deeply. Your scent tells me everything. Right now? Relief, joy. A little anger that I didn't tell you sooner. And, he smiled, love. So much love, it makes my wolf dizzy. What else? Your voice goes higher when you're happy, drops when you're determined. You drum your fingers when anxious, like now. He caught her hand, stilling the nervous movement. Your heartbeat is my favorite sound. Strong, steady, speeds up when I get close. Like now? Like now. He pulled her against him. I may never see your face, Iris, but I know you better than anyone who can. Every breath, every movement, every emotion that colors your scent, that's how I see you. And during the day, when I was supposedly plain, you were exactly the same to me. Same soul, same strength, same incredible person who fought corruption and protected strangers even while cursed. He pressed his forehead to hers. The curse never mattered because I couldn't see what it changed. The moon goddess knew, Moira said suddenly. She knew what you both needed, an alpha who could see past surface beauty to the soul beneath, an accursed wolf who needed to be loved for who she was, not what she looked like. Cosmic irony, Shadow said with satisfaction. Or cosmic genius. Either way, I approve. Iris pulled back to study Jasper's face, really study it. The way his eyes moved constantly, never quite settling. The slight tension around them from years of pretending to make eye contact. How had she missed it? I thought you found me ugly during the day, she admitted. I found you exactly as beautiful as you always were. He cupped her face, which is to say the most beautiful soul I've ever encountered. Souls aren't beautiful. Yours is. It glows like moonlight, smells like home, sounds like salvation. He smiled. Want to know a secret? Another one? I was terrified the curse would break and you'd realize you could do better. Find someone who could actually see your face. Jasper. But then I realized something. You don't need someone who can see your face. His thumb stroked her cheeks. You need someone who sees you, all of you. The parts that can't be cursed or changed. And you do? Better than anyone. He kissed her gently. My wolf knew you were ours before I even understood why. It recognized its mate by the only things that matter: soul, scent, spirit. Luna cleared her throat. This is beautiful, but can we discuss the fact that you're both technically disabled and still managed to take down my father and save the pack? We're not disabled, Iris said. We're differently abled. You were cursed and he's face blind, Shadow pointed out. That's pretty disabled. And yet we found each other, Jasper said. Saved each other. Completed each other, Moira added softly. Two broken pieces that make a perfect whole. The sun was fully up now, streaming through the garden. Iris let the change flow through her, smooth as breathing. Her silver wolf stood proud in the morning light, then shifted back just as easily. Can you see me when I'm in wolf form? She asked. Better, actually. Wolves I recognize by shape, movement, scent. It's human faces that escape me. He shifted too, his black wolf pressing against her silver one. Like this, you're crystal clear. They shifted back and Iris laughed. We're quite a pair. A cursed alpha and a face-blind one. Formerly cursed, he corrected, and I prefer uniquely sighted. Uniquely sighted? I see things others miss. Like how your soul shines brightest when you're protecting someone. How your scent turns to cinnamon when you're angry. How your heartbeat syncs with mine when we're close. Those aren't things people see. They're things I see, the only things that matter. Maria Chen's voice carried from downstairs. Are you all going to stand up there having emotional revelations all day, or are you coming for breakfast? The pancakes are getting cold. We should go, Luna said, but she was smiling. Maria gets cranky when people don't appreciate her cooking. As they headed downstairs, Iris caught Jasper's hand. No more secrets? No more secrets, he agreed. Though technically, Shadow probably has several dozen we don't know about. Several hundred, Shadow corrected. I'm very mysterious. You're very annoying, Iris said, but she scratched behind his ears. I'm the familiar who kept you sane for 18 years while you were cursed, and didn't even know your mate was face-blind. I deserve a medal. You deserve tuna. Premium tuna in a crystal bowl, served by someone in a tuxedo. You get regular tuna in a normal bowl. The disrespect after everything I've done. They entered the kitchen to find the pack assembled, and something in the way they all carefully announced themselves. Morning, Alpha. Hey, Jasper. Luna, you look rested. Told Iris they all knew, had probably always known. You all knew he was face-blind, she said. It wasn't a question. We're pack, Maria said simply. We protect each other's secrets, and each other's hearts. Plus, it was obvious, someone added. The way he never quite looks at faces? Classic. It was not obvious to me, Iris protested. You were distracted by the curse, Maria said gently. And by his forearms, according to Shadow. Shadow! The cat jumped onto the table, unrepentant. What? They're very nice forearms. Jasper laughed, pulling Iris close. I may not be able to see faces, but even I noticed your fixation with my forearms. They're very expressive forearms, she defended. Expressive? They express things. What things? Muscly things. The pack laughed, and for the first time in 18 years, Iris laughed with them. Not the careful laugh of someone hiding, but the full, free laugh of someone who was finally, truly seen. Not for her face, which changed with curses. Not for her beauty, which was fleeting, but for her soul, which was eternal. And across the table, her mate, her face-blind, perfect, uniquely sighted mate, tracked her by sound and scent and love, seeing her more clearly than anyone with perfect vision ever could. I love you, she said suddenly, not caring that the entire pack was listening. I love you too, he replied, his unfocused eyes somehow finding her soul anyway. Every unseen bit of you. Shadow made a gagging noise. Too sweet, I need insulin. You need therapy, Luna shot back. I need premium tuna and a crown for the mating ceremony. You get regular tuna and a bow tie. A bow tie! The indignity! As the argument devolved into chaos, Iris leaned into Jasper, feeling his heartbeat against her back. He couldn't see her face, had never been able to see her face, and somehow that made his love the purest thing she'd ever known. The curse was broken, but more importantly, she was seen. Truly, fully, perfectly seen. By the one person whose vision went deeper than surface beauty. Her wolf sang with contentment. She was home. Epilogue. 6 months later. Shadow, for the last time, you cannot officiate the ceremony while wearing a crown, a cape, and a scepter, Iris said, trying to wrestle at least one accessory away from the cat. I'm not just any ring bearer, Shadow protested, clutching his tiny scepter. I'm the familiar of the Luna of both the Northern and restored Silver Moon packs. I have standards. I have dignity. You have delusions of grandeur, Luna laughed, adjusting her own dress. As Iris's maid of honor, she looked radiant in silver blue silk that complemented her eyes. 6 months of proper nutrition, love, and pack life had transformed her from a frightened girl into a confident young wolf. 5 minutes, Maria Chen called from the doorway, her new CFO composure cracking with excitement. The entire pack is assembled. Both packs, actually. Did you know wolves from Montreal drove down? And Seattle? Iris, you've become something of a legend. The cursed alpha who broke free? Iris said wryly. I've heard the stories. The alpha who chose love, Maria corrected. Much better story. Iris turned to check her reflection one more time. The dress was simple, moonlight silk that shifted between silver and white as she moved. No mask this time, no hiding. The woman in the mirror was just herself, beautiful in her wholeness rather than any curse's design. You look perfect, Moira said from the doorway, and Iris spun. You made it. The elder looked younger somehow, more vital than she had 6 months ago. The walking stick she'd relied on was gone, and her eyes sparkled with an energy Iris hadn't seen before. Did you think I'd miss this? After everything? Moira embraced her. Besides, the waters at the sanctuary did wonders. Who knew there was a sacred spring in Vermont specifically for ancient wolves? A what now? The Sanctuary of Eternal Moonlight, Moira said casually. Hidden retreat for elderly wolves who aren't quite ready to cross over. I'll be studying there, learning the truly ancient ways. The alpha there is 700 years old. 700? Give or take a decade. She knew my great-great-grandmother. Moira's eyes twinkled. I have so much to learn, and now I have time to learn it. A century or two at least. A century, Moira. The old magic is returning, child. Your breaking of the curse, 2 silver moon wolves rising again. It's awakened things. Good things. She cupped Iris's face. I'll visit every full moon. Can't miss watching Luna grow into her power. And can't miss Shadow's increasingly elaborate demands, Luna added. Speaking of which, Shadow announced, it's time. Your mate awaits, and he's wearing the forearms out. He's wearing the forearms? Iris asked. Out. The forearms are out. The sleeves are rolled up. It's very attractive. According to the gossip I'm hearing through the familiar network, they made their way to the garden, which had been transformed with thousands of fairy lights and silver moonflowers that bloomed only at night. The entire northern pack was there, plus representatives from a dozen other packs who'd heard the story of the cursed alpha and the face-blind alpha who'd found each other. At the altar, really just an arch of twisted branches and moonlight, stood Jasper. He wore a simple black suit with, yes, the sleeves rolled up. His brother James stood beside him as best man, having flown in from London with half the European packs. But it was the way Jasper turned toward her that made her heart stop. Not looking at her face, he never could, but his whole body orienting to her presence like a compass finding north. He knows you're here, Luna whispered. He always knows. They'd practiced this approach so Jasper would know exactly where she was when she was close enough to reach for. As she walked down the aisle, she watched him track her movement by scent and sound, his face lighting up with each step she took closer. When she reached him, his hand found hers instantly. You smell like vanilla and starlight, he murmured. And happiness. So much happiness. You smell like pine and home, she replied, and you're crying. I'm not. He touched his face, finding tears. Okay, I am. The ceremony itself was simple. Traditional pack vows mixed with personal promises. Jasper promised to always find her by scent when his eyes failed him. Iris promised to always be his eyes when he needed them. They both promised to face each curse, each blessing, each dawn and midnight together. Shadow, despite his elaborate regalia, performed his ring-bearing duties perfectly, though he did pause dramatically before producing the rings, milking his moment. By the power vested in me by absolutely no one, Elder James, Jasper's brother, not to be confused with evil Uncle Marcus, said with a grin, I pronounce you mate-bonded, alpha-bonded, and permanently stuck with each other. That's not traditional wording, Jasper protested. Sue me. Kiss your mate. He did, and the pack, both packs, howled their approval to the moon. Later, at the reception held in the Brownstones' expanded garden, Iris watched their packs mingle. Northern and Silver Moon, old blood and new, all united under the full moon, No regrets? Jasper asked, his arms around her from behind. About what? Me, the face-blind alpha who can't even see how beautiful his mate is. She turned in his arms. You see me better than anyone ever has. I see your soul. That's all that matters. She kissed him softly. Besides, I fell in love with your forearms first. The rest was just bonus. He laughed, spinning her into a dance. Around them, their pack celebrated. Luna was teaching younger wolves the old silver moon dances Moira had shown her. Shadow had somehow acquired a microphone and was regaling everyone with embarrassing stories about Iris's 18 years of night shifts. Even Henderson's victims from the company were there, Maria having hired them all back with promotions and apologies. Oh, Iris said suddenly, I forgot to tell you. The council sent word. Henderson was spotted in Minneapolis. And? He's working at a DMV as a human, no memory of being a wolf. The council took his memories? The ritual blade did. When his wolf died, it took everything connected to it, including the memories of ever being one. The council didn't need to punish him. His own failed magic did that. She paused. He's just a normal, middle-aged man with no idea why he has so many scars. Good, Jasper said firmly. Justice. Justice, she agreed. As midnight approached, because of course they'd timed the ceremony to end at midnight, Iris stood with her pack, her mate, her family. 6 months ago, she'd been cursed, alone, forgotten. Now she was whole, loved, seen. Thank you, she said to Jasper as fireworks, courtesy of Shadow's mysterious connections, lit up the Boston sky. For what? For seeing me when I couldn't see myself. Thank you, he replied, for being worth seeing. We're both very welcome, Shadow announced, jumping onto Jasper's shoulder with surprising grace for a cat wearing a cape. I, of course, orchestrated all of this. You literally did nothing but spill coffee, Luna pointed out. It's strategic coffee spilling. There's a difference. As they bickered, Iris leaned into her mate, feeling his heartbeat sync with hers. Somewhere out there, other cursed wolves were hiding, thinking themselves broken. Other face-blind wolves were pretending they could see. Maybe they'd find them. Maybe they'd help them. Maybe they'd build a pack of the beautifully broken. What are you thinking? Jasper asked, his breath warm against her ear. The future, she said. All the cursed wolves we could help. All the hidden packs we could unite. Always the alpha, he said with pride. Always protecting. Always seeing what others miss, she countered. We make a good team. The best team. The clock struck 12:47 a.m., the exact time they'd met that first night. Happy anniversary, he said. It's been 6 months, not a year. I'm counting from the first moment. Every moment counts when you can't see faces. You have to memorize everything else. She kissed him then, deep and sure, and felt their bond pulse with contentment. Around them, their pack celebrated. Above them, the moon blessed them. And beside them, Shadow complained about the quality of the champagne while secretly purring loud enough to vibrate the table. It wasn't a fairy tale ending. It was better. It was real. And somewhere in Boston, in a building that smelled of pine and magic and home, 2 broken souls had made something whole. Something that would last through every dawn, every midnight, every transformation yet to come. I love you, Iris said against Jasper's mouth. Every unseen part of you. And I love you, he replied, his unfocused eyes somehow finding her soul anyway. Every part I'll never see and always know. Shadow made a gagging noise. Someone get me insulin, and premium tuna, and therapy. But even he was purring. Even he was home. The end. Or perhaps the beginning. After all, there were other cursed wolves out there, other broken souls needing to be seen. The Silver Moon Pack was rising again, and this time they would help others rise too. This time no one would be left to transform alone. It has been The Night Shift Alpha, written by D.N. Leo. And there it is, the truth. Shadow knew all along. He couldn't see the curse because he couldn't see faces at all. He fell in love with her soul, her scent, her voice. Everything the curse couldn't touch. Two broken souls who were perfectly wrong in just the right ways. The Night Shift Alpha was written by D.N. Leo, narrated by Jessica Lee, and yes, Shadow approved every word. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button. It truly helps other shifter romance lovers find us. Subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss our next midnight tale. And here's the exciting part. This story was written on demand just for you. Drop a comment below telling DN Leo what you want next. She reads and responds to all of your comments. Your request could be next week's feature story. Check the description for links to request your own custom paranormal romance. And don't forget to share this with someone who needs a good cry and a happily ever after. Thank you for staying until dawn with Iris and Jasper. Your engagement keeps these heartfelt stories alive. Until next midnight. This is DN Leo reminding you that sometimes the most beautiful things can only be seen with your eyes closed.